Calabria. Next to me in that square is Amanda Fink, and next to me in this square in the pink hat, the great Craig Bell. Craig is waking up our live feed on the Facebook, and we're so proud to have this fantastic guest tonight. She is a tennis professional, played on the WTA Tour, played NCAA, great level of tennis at the top of the pack, 10 or 12.
It was 10 when I was playing.
It was 10. I thought so. I'm coming from the Pac 8 days, and here you are, Pac 10, University of Southern California in Los Angeles, California. So we're so proud to have her. This is a rare day. I get to wear your school colors.
Exciting.
Here. And I'm fighting on tonight. And Craig Bell, you look ready, man.
Yes, I think we are finally through whatever we need to do. We are right there. So ready to go? Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
James Scott Campbell, here we go. All right. That would be thanks to our ATN podcast girl, the always ever convivial Margot Carter. That's
Convivial.
one convivial already. Two
It's
convivial.
actually 3.
Oh, is it really? Oh, okay. For that, I'm going to say, here's the word of the night. Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing introduction and welcome fans of the great game. We actually have some people on with us right now. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 130. Can you believe that?
Not too shabby. 3 years, 130 episodes.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Not too bad, buddy.
Our ATN podcast with, on my left, as always, AJ Chabrier, right?
And with me, as always, to my right, the great Craig Bell.
And we are talking the great game of tennis tonight, as it
Seems to us.
Thanks also go out to our good amigos at Tex-Mex Productions, FB1, Darian D. Matt McBrayer. And the brain is watching us. I mean, I am looking at the brain right now. He's hopefully not paying attention. He's not paying attention down there on my phone. But we did have, sorry we were a little late, but we had to do some technical work from back of the house, so the brain helped us get on. And so, but I'm moving the dials a little bit somewhat tonight.
Producing well.
Okay. Also, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Plus, check out our good work on, here we go, Fireside, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, CastBox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. I did it again. I'm getting pretty good at this, So basically, that's all the important communication sites the kids find popular today. And if you'd like to read the opening intro, like the very convivial Margot Carter, hit us up right on some digits, right?
Please do. DM us a demo tape. I have a feeling Amanda will do a good job.
Yeah,
great voice on this young player.
So speaking of amazing, that's the word of the night right there. Our guest this evening, actually, it's not this afternoon, right? Is like totally amazing. Totally amazing.
You going a little Valley Girl on me?
I don't know, because I don't know where Calabasas
That is the Valley.
Is it in the Valley?
It's Ventura Freeway, Malibu.
Is it there? Was I right?
Got it.
Not straight,
Dead
but
on.
like this kind of thing, right up to
Totally.
Calabasas.
Yeah,
Totally. Here we go.
And I was trying not to be derogatory, on
And
that,
she was born in the 80s, I'm guessing, too.
That's correct.
When that movie was
You're right.
On our...
Does your head go back and forth like this? So, no. Amanda Fink, the great Amanda Fink, the amazing Amanda Fink. She's so amazing. Do you know that the Calabasas High School Wikipedia page has her under notable alumni, along with, you wouldn't believe this, Jim Rome,
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Schroeder, and the band Incubus.
Incubus is from Calabasas.
Is that correct, Amanda?
Thank you both so much for having me. Yes, and thank you for finding that fun fact. What a fun piece of trivia.
Wow. We searched, deep and wide. We just kind of go all over the page.
Great.
Wherever that's AJ. AJ does all that kind of
Research
stuff.
Department, Craig Bell. All credit to you, buddy.
Right. So we're glad to have you, Amanda. We really appreciate you bearing with us for a couple of minutes, and also the followers, the viewers right now, bearing with us. Those who are going to watch the rebroadcast, we did take a little extra coffee break. I'll put it that way, right? We were having a cup of coffee for a second.
We didn't even drink coffee, but yeah.
Neither do I. No, but thank you again for having me. Like I said in my post leading up to this, my husband thinks this is hilarious that I'm on a podcast called At the Net, because anyone that knows my game style knows that I'm very rarely at the net, except for that one picture from USC that they took of me being at the net. So it is a great honor to be here, especially with the two of you.
Big hitter, big ground strokes and serves, and we're happy you're at the net, not just to shake hands, but to do a 3-set podcast. So we'll have some fun tonight.
Right.
Folks at home, as you know, first set, we're going to get the background on Amanda Fink. Amanda, how did you get started in the great game of tennis in Southern California?
Like many great players, my journey in tennis started with my family. My parents are both tennis players recreationally. They played other sports growing up in high school and college. My mom was a college level volleyball player and my dad played basketball, but they both, for fun, have always played tennis. My grandparents, it just has run through my family. So I was playing a couple sports. I was playing soccer and softball, but when I was 8, my mom thought it would be cute if I came and split her tennis lesson occasionally. And eventually, after a couple weeks, I got my own lessons, and I really fell in love with playing. And my coaches are a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing today. But that's really how I got started. Was my parents kind of bring their love of tennis through me, and I got to find my own way through it. And being able to take it to the level I did was really exciting.
How old were you when you did the mommy and you lessons?
I started, when I was 8. So I think I did a couple. My uncle is still a teaching pro occasionally. And I think I was maybe 5 or 6 when he did some tiny tot things with my friends and I. But yeah, I really got started with my mom when I was about 8.
That is beautiful. And which coach was agile enough to handle athletic mom and athletic little kid?
Andy Berenson. So we started at the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center, which is also full circle where I ended training professionally with Steve McAvoy and the Top Seed Academy there, and with Novak Nash. But I've worked, at various points in my career there. After Andy, I was working with Desi McBride, who's fabulous. So yeah, a lot of my journey was through my hometown and through my hometown club.
What a great little circle. That is beautiful. Yeah. When this was 90s, I'm guessing, like early mid 90s. Mm-hmm. And what kind of balls? There wasn't red, orange, yellow, or green, but were there foams, or was it just straight regulation balls?
Not yet. Still the regulation balls. I think that there were maybe some talks of the balls coming out, but they weren't there when I was there. I was definitely still coming up. I really do wish that tool was there when I was training and growing up. It has been such a useful tool to use as a coach. It keeps people in the game longer. I think it has the best shot of retaining players right now, especially from what we're seeing currently with all this new influx of people trying tennis. I think those balls, whether it's with kids or adults, are the key to keeping a lot of players in the game. So I wish I had them when I was growing up.
Fantastic tool. I still warm up with foams, and in the 70s when I started, there were some foams, but it was just a tool. It certainly wasn't a system.
Sure.
And there's no question the lower bounce helps a little 6-year-old hit a backhand or spin it or whatever, instead of having to play everything.
Right. And that's the foundation for cardio tennis, which is my favorite class to teach. So it's all there.
In cardio, do you do triples? What kinds of fun things?
Oh, yeah. Triples is a standard of every cardio class you teach, says Michelle Krause. But yes, no, triples is in every class I play. I run it. I'm very, I think, classically trained in it. So I do a very classic format of warm up, drills, games, cool down. Just like it was originally built to do. And I think it's been very successful because of that. And all the games are super fun. Those games, not only in doing that class itself, but learning those games and how to move people has really made a lot of because I do like the high energy coaching. So that's actually been a really big part of what I do, not just in cardio, but in all my clinics.
I'm glad you're a high energy coach. Do you get tired, or do you get energy from that kind of coaching?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I definitely bring a certain amount of energy myself at the table. You guys, I mentioned that you don't drink coffee. I tell people that I don't either because I'm already like this without it. I think that I have a certain amount of that ingrained in me. But I think that when I started coaching, I think that there was a piece of that was unlocked that I don't even think was really there when I was playing yet. I think I got to discover a whole new side of me when I began coaching, which has been really rewarding.
That is awesome. When you said a side of you that maybe wasn't there even when you were playing, you played at a remarkably high level, top in the USTA in 16s and probably 18s as well. How did you get good? And then maybe you can transition into how you played so well at the Pac-10 NCAA level.
Sure.
Too.
It's kind of all the same, actually, and no one's going to want to hear this from me because I beat it to death all the time, but I played so many matches. So many matches. I mean, I took tennis lessons. I definitely played in some clinics, but most of my training was centered around if I'm playing a tournament and that's the goal, then I should be training to play a tournament, and those are matches. My mom had a list of every kid in our, a certain mile radius that I could play with. And my job was, my mom started doing that for me. Thanks, Mom. But after a certain amount of time, she said, if you want to continue your tennis lessons and things, here's a list. You need to set up this many practice matches every week to kind of keep your training going. So from very early on, it was instilled that I need to be able to problem solve my way in practice to be able to do it when it really counted. So it's really important to play, whether it's against my friends, people I didn't love so much, getting kind of the full experience. And I think that really made who I was as a player. I mean, I was definitely not out hitting anyone. I was not out crafting anyone, so to speak, but I became really gritty. I could make a lot of balls and I could be really patient and figure my way out of stuff if I didn't beat myself first, which did happen on many occasions. But I think the amount, even in college, I mean, our assistant coaches can attest to the fact that they played a lot of practice sets with me when, not all the girls were primed to want to do that all the time. And that's really what made me tough. And that's what I think separated me from a lot of other players. Because, there's hundreds of players trying to do what I do, and probably lots of people just as, if not more talented than me. But if you can be that's the interesting thing about tennis. You don't have to be the strongest. You could be the smartest or the fastest or the most patient. And so playing all these matches really did get me to who I was as a player.
The toughness, the resilience, and the problem solving, these are the three things that stand out from your experience. Tell me, in this age of being a pro, a country club coach, and a coach to adults as well as juniors, there is some demand out there for a lot of structure and a lot of information. How do you balance your desire to give them what they want, but also inject a lot of what they need, which is problem solving, resilience, toughness from match play?
Right. So I think you're absolutely right. I think there is a lot of structure. I think a lot of people do depend on the pro to be able to set up everything for them. And I think that especially at the club that I've currently been in, La Paloma is a fantastic club, and I've gotten to help grow its programming, which has been really exciting. But also I think a lot of my programming is centered around situational play for that reason. So even in my clinics are a lot of point play, a lot of talking through, strategy and small technical changes through live ball play, because again, that's where things really matter. But at the end of the day, even the fast live ball play isn't exactly what players are doing when they're playing the league matches or tournaments. And there's some players that don't want to do that, and they just like the clinic format and they like the social and that stuff, and that's totally fine. But for the players that I know that are really going after their league goals and going after really improving in terms of their match play, maybe beating their friends, I definitely have also encouraged, it's like, as much as you see me, you've got to be able to do this in the real world without me yelling at you, which is often, we get used to. And the pace of play is a lot slower. It's a fast 30 seconds followed by, 45 seconds of downtime. It's very different than clinic and getting your workout, so to speak. So we do encourage people. I have connected, I think, a lot of players to play practice matches with each other for that reason. And the people that have taken it, I think, have really run with it, and they're playing all the time now. And their growth, their improvement is exponential. And I think they see it for themselves in the cards, so it's become worth it for them.
As it should be. There are more tools, technology at your fingertips now. One should be having lots of ease in setting up practice matches or practice sets or practice sessions or any of that. And I'm sometimes sad that young people don't, but I'm thrilled that you've got your people doing that. Well done.
You think, but I also think that there's something about sport, and as much as technology has evolved a lot and it should be really easy, but there's always going to be something that always remains and needs to be very personal about these things, about setting players up and being able to introduce. It's just very social. So yes, technology has made things easier, but the social component's always going to be the social component, and it's always probably going to need an instigator like a tennis pro.
I'm happy you're a good instigator. You have organically, beautifully gone from first set already into the second set. I just want to mention a couple sponsors. Conga Sports, the first green tennis network, sponsored the first set. Second set, which we're kind of in the middle of, the Circula app out of the UK, and they're kind of a sports and entertainment platform. So go check them out. And here we are, mid-second set. I want to talk a little bit about Amanda's current projects, which you've touched on. And future projects. Tell us what position you're in at La Paloma and what you might be doing now and then in the future.
Sure. So I'm currently the head tennis professional at La Paloma Country Club, serving under our good friend Eric Sturmo, who Craig Bell knows very well. I think all of my clients were very, very excited to hear that I was going to be on a podcast with someone that played college tennis with Eric.
With it's Wildcats,
Right.
the Wildcats of Weaver State.
We'll get into that in the third.
I know, but I had to throw it out there. But Eric has been a fantastic boss in that he has allowed me to come there, and any ideas that I have, any program we want to push, he's allowed me to go for it. So when I came to this club, there was some junior programming, an adult clinic, some other things. So I added some level-based practices. I added cardio tennis and some other programs. And since we've also added another tennis professional to our staff, Emma Ryan, who's also fantastic. She's been able to add programming. So yeah, my goal at our club is, as it was in my previous club, Santa Luz in San Diego, is creating programming, being kind of as you can tell, I'm kind of the communication center. I'm the queen of emails, the queen of updates and posts and things. I try to be a face of the tennis program as much as I can to do what we're all trying to do, which is promote the great game, which is getting more people out there and keeping them out there, because tennis, we're obviously very biased, but is the greatest sport, and I want everyone to play it. So that's what I'm doing at La Paloma. In terms of other things, I just got put on our USTA Southwest Board of Directors. I'm going to be serving as a USPTA Southwest District Coordinator for Southern Arizona. And I just finished serving 2 terms on the USTA National Nominating Committee, which was one of the greatest volunteer experiences I've ever gotten to have. I really hope that more great people involved with our industry apply to do that, because it was an invaluable experience. So those are the things I'm doing now. I also, I've joined Yonex in the past year, and they have initiated a speaking team, which I have become a part of. So I am kind of building my calendar, looking for my events for 2023 to talk about, running clinics to building community and everything in between. So those are kind of some of the projects that I'm involved in right now. I have to stay busy, AJ.
I feel the same, and I love your energy and passion behind it. I know we all use a Yonex racket, but I brought 2 friends of yours from the college and tour days. You and I both used these back then.
We did.
And I just love them. So blast from the past there. Mm-hmm. These are great sticks too, and I got a kick out of seeing those very professional shots of you on the WTA tour, taken by our friend Mark Woods from right here in Flower Mound, Texas. The guy is amazing with the camera and with his, the lighting and his choice of the moment. Yep. Really impressive guy.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So I'm glad his photos got to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great. Well, tell us about the future. What's next for you, Amanda?
Oh, goodness. So what else is coming up? In November, I'm going to be heading to Florida, hopefully, to train with Michelle and hopefully learn a little bit more about a little bit more about delivering. I'm hoping to be able to teach other pros to deliver cardio tennis in 2023. So working on that. And then I'm hoping to, in Tucson itself, I'm going to be with the USPTA trying to start some more coaches gatherings, trying to get more people together, build a little more community, maybe find out a little bit more like I've been doing over the past year of listening of what coaches are looking for. What do people need help with? I don't want to sit and talk at people. I'm totally over that. I love listening, and that's what I've kind of been involved with Elevate and U30 projects, is trying to hear what maybe coaches that aren't heard as often, what they need in their industry, and see if either I have the connections to help them, or quite honestly, we end up finding out that the people in the group can help each other. So that's going to be a big goal of mine, at least with the Southwest in the next year. But yes, otherwise it's just continuing to grow programming at La Paloma. I am a little almost at my limit in my ability to be everywhere. I think my clients can feel that, but adding mixers and social events and things. We're doing a great event with U of A coming up in January, our second annual, where the teams come and deliver a clinic for the club to kind of kick off their season. So kind of always lots of exciting things around the corner. And I'm always looking for the next great project to be able to impact either a tennis player community or a coaches community.
Tremendous. You mentioned what coaches are looking for. Let's talk a little bit about what players might be looking for. I love your passion for not just introducing people to the great game, but keeping them growing within the great game. What do you think they're looking for? And when I say they, you pick a level: juniors, adults, people my age returning to tennis, anything you want.
Sure. So I think over the past couple of years, what I've learned, whether it's from doing Sip and Serve in San Diego, whether it's been running adult clinics or junior clinics, is that at the end of the day, everyone wants to come and see people they know and have a great time. And that's what I've been about. What's ironic about me is I know I come from a high performance background, but I always tell people that that's not my coaching niche. I am in the business of throwing the tennis party, and that's where I want to stay. So I think it's going to be continuing to about trying to develop, in addition to our level-based clinics, continuing to add all level clinics, more cardio tennis, more things that people can do together, whether it's with their families or friends, and have it not be totally dependent on what their level is. Again, the people that want that, the people that are looking for the higher leagues and things and have those goals, we want to have programming for them as well. But in terms of the bigger scope of tennis, it's going to be about creating the most inclusive programming we can. So that's kind of where my head's at for at least, especially in the upcoming couple years.
Craig Bell, she's living the word convivial on the tennis court and off, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I learned that word just for this podcast. I did.
Well, there's some conviviality out there from Mark Faber, who's a recent guest on the podcast from maybe about a year ago, I guess.
Mark Faber from Toledo, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then Ray Major from Florida. I said, I guess the power's back on in Florida. So Ray Major, he's a fellow tennis pro like all of us. He's listening right now. So shout out to Amanda from Florida and Ohio.
Oh, that's
right
great.
now.
Very cool.
Love it. National audience. Yes. Love it. Well, thank you for that. That was that's neat that you're doing it. You found your niche. You're capable of doing so many different things, and you're really going deep in that regard. I love it. Next thought or two before we head into the third set. I want you to tell us, what should we have asked you in this second set, current, future projects that you might want to talk about that we haven't asked you?
Oh, I mean, in terms of the speaking thing, I am, like I said, I'm looking to build my calendar for 2023. I've gotten some interest. So the kind of speaking engagements I do have been at USPTA division or national conferences. They have been super, super fun to do. And I've been doing some high school coaches workshops too, which has been really rewarding, because I know that high school coaches, they have such a vast differential of levels on a team. And so looking at how to run a practice or how to create, a team dynamic or anything with those programs, those are the things that kind of, I think I've been specializing in right now. But I've also been really, really open to anything, like I said, whatever coaches need. If it's something that's in my skill set, I'm totally looking forward to deliver. And like I said, the cardio tennis thing, I'm so pumped about it. I am always so amazed at how many places do not have cardio tennis. And I'm always trying to figure out, is it because of just the demographic? Is it because coaches need a little more training on how it's classically run to be able to keep it? Because I think a lot of people try it and then either deviate from the formula a lot, or or to have, or use different balls or something and have trouble retaining players. And I've told everyone that this class usually for me sells out most weeks. It's usually my most popular class. And I would love for it to be that way for everybody that coaches, because again, I think it's one of the best products we have out there. But so I am looking forward to creating more of those training courses, hopefully in 2023 as well. I'm trying to stay involved in addition with the district, USTA, the Southwest stuff. I'm hoping to stay involved nationally too. I was really bummed when you could only be on a nominating committee for 2 terms. I'm hoping to kind of throw my hat in the ring for some other national committee work as well, and to just continue connecting with pros out here and try to kind of develop the Southwest into what I know it can be. It's already great. I just want to keep adding kind of the growth and development for our section.
Good stuff. You mentioned a new pro at your club. What's her name? It's a woman, right?
Emma Ryan. Mm-hmm.
Emma Ryan. We've got a great question from the COO of Cliff Drysdale Tennis. That's a recent guest on our show, Scott McCullough. And he's asking, how can we get more female pros in the industry, and then also in the path to director, which you're hopefully on?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do that at some point, but with my path and what my husband does, my husband's in the medical field, so I have to stay flexible for what I need to be doing. But yeah, it's a great question. It's something we talk about all the time. And I think there are 2 parts to that. One, I think often on the side of current businesses is I think businesses feel like a lot of women don't apply. And we're trying to figure out why that is. There could be hundreds of reasons for that. But I think sometimes, I know that I am never afraid, at least anymore, to put myself out there. But even that for me has been a process that's taken a long time. So I can imagine that maybe others feel that way, that maybe they might not be considered as strongly as others. I don't know if it's for being a woman or whatever it is, but I also think that we're starting to do a good job of encouraging, more female empowerment with, what Sarah Stone is doing is a good step in the right direction. I think she's still kind of figuring out like what the strong mission of that is and building that. And I know we've had some, women's forums via the USPTA and things like that. But I think it's continuing to do some listening. I know in the last year there was I forgot what college it was. There was a survey that actually went out. There's a study being done, I think, for females and what they're doing currently in our industry, and is there anything that's keeping them back, or do they feel like they're being discriminated against? I think that listening is also going to be a really big key component in being able to empower more females to go after these strong positions. I think it's just kind of like anything. Someone has to tap you on the shoulder and go, hey, you would be really great for this. Come on, you can do it. Like, go for it. I know that I've been lucky enough to have great mentors that have done that for me. That's why I'm so involved. I think with the USPTA and USTA, I think there's often a lot of players that come off tour that choose to step away from that. But I think because I had enough people that were telling me that my skill set would be really useful and valued, being the key word, it encouraged me to be able to go after things. And my husband's been that way too. My husband's been super encouraging of anything I've done. And I think it does. It takes us knowing a coach, for example, Emma's fantastic. I don't know what Emma's 5-year, 10-year plan is, but I'm going to be encouraging her to go after, her goals, or maybe some goals that she didn't think were in her reach. And I think all of us just kind of have to do the same. And that goes the same also for our upcoming. We also have this fear of, who's stepping in next in the younger generation of people coming up. And it is the absolute same deal. We have to be able to empower these people to feel like they can do things, even if it's not like I have a junior pro that I'm also trying to get certified and be able to be on court more. And I've, tried to push him to go, hey, you're really good at this. I think that you can do all these things. And it's just really important to empower others. It's really important for women to empower each other. I think that that's still also been a sticky spot too, with competition or whatnot. But I think that it is very personal. And I think that a tap on the shoulder could go a really long way, is the long-winded answer to that question.
I love it. To summarize, for me, what jumps out is empower, tap on the shoulder, and encourage. Let them know they are of value.
Mhm.
And that confident message and that message of love for the game and love for each other really stands out for me. On the other side of that, I've noticed that you're also, of course, confident and you don't need coffee and energetic and all that,
Yeah.
but you're also very honest and very vulnerable.
Right.
Tell us about some flaws and some things that you are overcoming. And this is a process.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I'm so glad you
admire
asked
that so
this
much.
because
Oh,
yes,
good.
trust me, I there are a few. I just did a post on on how many mistakes we make, no matter how great we are. I've had, you know, in September I had a really rough month in terms of travel. I had a lot going on, and when I came home, I had made a ton of scheduling mistakes, a ton of things that just so. But aside from that, I think that again, I'm getting better at this, but I do tend to think I still take things personally way more often than I should. Since I'm trying to make everyone happy all the time, which is a gift and a curse. It definitely makes me very good at what I do in the service industry, but it also can sometimes keep me out of, you know, being probably the best leader I can, because, you know, many of our great leaders say, you know, if you're being liked by everyone, you're not doing your job. That's been difficult for me. And to keep things like more concise, like my answers, my emails and all that stuff, trying to like really take time and get to the point, as opposed to reacting immediately, which is something I tend to do again, because I want to get things done quickly. I've had to take more time and be able to come up with best possible solutions instead of trying to go for speed, which I tend to do a lot. And I'm trying to think in terms of on court, I've actually had to, you know, I have to tell you that technical is not like my huge, like, obviously I have a certain amount of technical expertise, but when I get to a certain point, I feel like I don't have some of the little like tiny things that I really could be better at. I need to do a better job of being a student of the game again and being able to kind of study it and watch. Cause like, who was it? Dave Dwelly, I believe a couple weeks ago kind of mentioned how he doesn't, you know, watch a ton of tennis. I have to be perfectly honest. I don't either. I've been playing for so long and I have, it just has, but you know what? I need to be able to keep up with what's going on. And, Joel Myers has been helping me do that. That's been really great. But yeah, I think I do need to do a better job in keeping up to the latest and greatest in the technical department.
Well, thanks for all that earnestness and honesty
Sure.
and vulnerability. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Craig Bell, it is time for the third set, my friend.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Who is the third set brought to us by?
That would always be the Great Blair Desperate with Master Systems. If you need anything in the world of tennis, whether it's nets to windscreens to resurfacing to court building, you know, our great friend Blair Desperate with Master Systems would enjoy working with you, right, AJ?
We enjoy working with him. He's just an amazing fella. He played tennis growing up, grew up here in the North Dallas area, and just a delightful man to even just go have lunch with. So give him a call if you're in this area and you need anything along those lines. Craig Bell, third set, Amanda Fink. Let's go.
Here we go. All right. So this always tells a little bit about your personality when we start. We have three sets or three segments in the third set. So first set and segment is kind of, we like music, and hopefully you like music as well. So
she is a singer. This young woman is.
Well, I mean, we might get her to have to do a song for us, like the great Richie Cohen. Do you know Julia Cohen's dad?
Yes.
Dr. Cohen? Yeah. He has a song called Tennis, and
he did
sang.
not.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't need any musical accompaniment even from an air guitar.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
And jazzy, bluesy lounge singer vibe, late 60s, mid 60s.
Yeah, we love Rich Cohen. So shout out to the great Rich Cohen, Julia Cohen, Josh Cohen. They've all been on the podcast.
Dr. Cohen, the not just the sports psychologist, but the parent to two tour players.
That's right. Yeah. So shout out to Richie Cohen. He's one of our favorites, favorite guests. But first band you saw in concert, first band, was it somebody there in the Southern Cal area?
Yeah. So growing up, I didn't see that many concerts. So a lot of these answers are probably gonna be very embarrassing. My first concert was going to see Wango Tango in LA when 102.7 Kiss FM was still a thing. It was a graduation gift where a tennis friend and one of my school friends all went to the concert, and we saw like Jessica Simpson and Ricky Martin, and I think like maybe the Backstreet Boys, and just a whole conglomerate of just absolute 90s pop phenomena in, I believe, Dodger Stadium. So I believe that was my first concert. I've seen a lot of, like, not that those aren't great bands. I promise you, I've seen Rush and the Rolling Stones and lots of things since then, but that was my first concert.
So did you ever hit with any music guys? You know, because you were on tour, I'm sure you would have maybe crossed paths with people playing in various venues, you know, across the world. Did you ever have a chance to hit with anybody? I know there's several musicians that like to play.
There are, but you know what? I don't think I've hit with any of the major, none of the recording artists we know. Ironically, in my time in San Diego, I got close with a community of singer-songwriters there. I hired for my wedding, I hired a gentleman named Michael Tiernan, who's a phenomenal artist. And when he agreed to play my wedding, he said, come and see me play first so you make sure it's what you like. And I came, and his music's phenomenal. So I came and saw him play like every week and found out that he plays a little tennis along with Johnny Tarr and Lee Coulter, who are also phenomenal local musicians. And so I ended up following a lot of their music and got to play a little tennis with some of them. But I don't think I've played any tennis with the rock stars that I think we would all know.
You know those guys? Now, AJ has this uncanny ability to know these people, you know, that they're obscure.
I mean, Brian Ferry is a huge tennis guy.
Is he?
I have gotten to hit with Carlos Santana.
Wow.
Back then, he and I used the same rackets. Yeah, like you and I use the same rackets. Carlos McEnroe, Steffi, and me, same racket.
Huh?
Oh, he's ridiculous.
Wow.
He's such an artist, even on a tennis court.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you live La Vida Loca when you saw?
I sure did, Greg. I sure did.
See, I know a few things. You know, I like to throw these
You
things.
know the demographic, and she threw us Rolling Stones and Rush.
Yeah,
that was exactly in our age group.
I've also seen Hootie and the Blowfish. I've seen, you know, I think my husband and I, we have two things. You know, we're very different people. We have three major things in common: tennis, our appreciation of live music, and our appreciation of stand-up comedy. So those are our three activities.
Well, favorite comedian. Let's down that rabbit hole for a second.
Amazing how many tennis people are comedy people are tennis guys.
Okay, so bar none, my favorite comedian is Michael Costa. He is the top of the chain.
He played for the Fight in Illinois.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's a former professional tennis player, and I have taken friends to see him. I've taken my parents to see him. I've dragged everyone to see this man. He is incredible. He just hits all the right places, and he throws in some tennis humor every once in a while. He is just a phenomenal comedian. So he is definitely top of the list.
Definitely. Speaking of List, Joe List is a tennis
For
guy.
sure he is. That's one of my husband's favorites. Yes, he sure is.
Oh, good. Oh, amazing. One of my favorites, Andrew Schultz. Schultz, he is a big, athletic, tall guy, but I don't think he's a good tennis player, but he plays all the time.
And Giannis is a big fan. Giannis Papas is,
Giannis Papas. And his grandfather, right?
Oh, really?
The fictional character from Socrates' Diner.
That's right.
You know why he's good? You know why he's good at tennis, right?
Why?
Because he's a Greek person.
That's right.
And feta cheese and olive oil is why.
Oh, that's amazing. But yeah, there are a lot of comedians that are big tennis fans. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Have you seen Eliza Schlesinger by chance in the soap?
I have not seen her live. I have watched her. I've seen her specials and things, but I've not seen her live.
She's not much of a tennis player. She grew up right here, and we're friends with her dad.
Oh, cool! She's great.
She's crazy. She's so good. And she was more of a lacrosse, kind of an enforcer in field hockey and lacrosse. You know, athletic, still quite fit at whatever, elder millennial, basically similar age to you, I'm sure. And she's a blast. She's a good
He
one.
introduced her down in San Antonio.
Did you really?
A year and a half ago, yes.
It was about almost exactly a year and a month. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
At our USPTA Texas convention, Fred is a tennis pro, actually, like us as well. He's transitioned from a very successful career in financial advisement,
Planning,
and is a tennis professional. And so he went down to the summer retreat down in San Antonio and just happened to be at the same time.
It was
we were down there.
Crazy timing.
The voice of At the Net podcast, the booming voice.
Yeah. Well, I also heard AJ is a little bit of a comedian himself.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've done stand-up in the 90s and 4 weeks ago. That's about it, but it was fun.
You did some stand-up 4 weeks ago?
I should show you. It was up here, actually, in Dallas.
Were you at the Improv?
No, I was introing and emceeing 2 bands. And the morning of, they asked, hey, man, can you do stand-up for like between 5 and 7 minutes between the 2 bands while they tear down and set up? I was like, all right, I don't have anything written, but... I got a good co-host. We've got plenty of crap that we write. I'll just try to keep it off tennis.
Was Rafa
we had a
there?
Good time.
Was Rafa there?
Correct, Bell. No, Rafa was always going to have a good time, but Amanda Fink more, no? A lefty, same racket as me, no? I'm going to come to your town in Arizona. I'm going to do an exhibition for your charity. Okay, Amanda?
That's so good.
That's after the baby was born, so you might have to wait a few months, right?
See.
Yeah. Shout out to Rafa and his wife. We understand little Rafito.
Yeah.
I used to call Rafael Rafito, even at the age of 30, 36, whatever he is, but I got to stop calling him Rafito because
rolls off the tongue really well, though.
I love that name too, but now there's a new Rafito, a little 10 pound, a little cute kid, I'm sure.
Well, sorry we digressed down that.
Okay, I listen. This is what I live for. I'm here for it.
Okay. Yeah, we've got some other people chiming in also too.
What are they saying, buddy?
Just Ball Elite Training is watching.
Mike
Ball from down in
What's
Florida.
up, Mike?
Yeah, and we've got some people over on YouTube. I can't see anything that they're saying right now. We've got both feeds going from Facebook and YouTube going, so we've got quite an audience. YouTube folks, if you can hear us, type something so I can see who's out there on the YouTube as well. So, but anyway, okay, we know you like music. What's your favorite kind of music? What's on the the iPhone, the headphones? When you go out, what's your walk-up music? Say that you're getting ready to go out and here's Amanda Fink.
Right.
Coming out on the court. What are you walking out?
Yeah, I'm definitely a pop rock girl. I mean, I have really, I've been a big fan of Panic at the Disco for a long time. I'm a big, I think their lead singer is the most talented, underrated singer we've had in a long time. I'm kind of surprised that no one is, this man has the range of Celine Dion. It's insane. But yes, I think their that kind of music, the pop rock, the high energy, Maroon 5's classic stuff, maybe not as much their new stuff, but their old stuff, and kind of in that genre. But yeah, I mean, I definitely stick to a lot of the mainstream pop. But to be perfectly honest, I love all the 90s and 80s pop. I feel like that's a lot of my karaoke material. That's a lot of the kind of the bouncy high energy stuff. But yeah, I think my walk-up song would definitely be by Panic at the Disco for sure.
Interesting. You Panic at the Disco?
I know they end their name with an exclamation point.
Yeah. Well, it's it's just Panic. It's Panic with an exclamation point and then at the disco. So it's Panic at the Disco.
Yeah. Panic. and the math geek in me is Panic factorial.
Yes.
So P times A times N times I times Z.
But yeah,
I love that name.
But I feel also I grew up with. My dad played a lot of Elton John and Phil Collins in the car. So that is also that might not be my walk-up music, but it's definitely been on constant repeat on my phone for a very long time when I'm traveling or anything like that. Those 2 artists are also very meaningful to me.
Talk about artists who love tennis. Phil Collins is played, but Elton John has the ugliest backhand ever. And he still plays, and he's still an amazing supporter of tennis.
Oh, that's so cool! I did not know that.
Yeah. Somebody just didn't teach him that if you're going to hit a one-hander, you go with the proper grip.
Right.
You think Billy would? You think Billie Jean?
Yeah, I was going to say he's connected to Billie Jean King. You think at some point that
they were 70s. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so the third part of this question here about music. If you were in a band, I always like to ask this question because I think it reveals a lot about people's personality. I think were you not a psychology major at USC? If
that is what my undergrad is, and yes.
Yeah, there we go. So now we're getting pretty heady stuff here. So if you were in a band, maybe you were in a band or maybe still in a band, Are you the lead singer? Are you the guitar player? Piano player, drummer? Glockenspiel player like me? I like to play the Glockenspiel.
Yeah.
Where does Amanda Fink sit in the
Oh,
band?
unfortunately, I'm definitely the lead singer. Not just because that's what I do, but and trust me, I'm not in a. I really want to be in a band. I've started looking into it, but the rehearsal schedules, even if like I wanted to, are like can't. It's either like late night or during tennis prime time hours. So if you're watching and you have time to include me in your band in Arizona, please reach out to me. But I'm also like you kind of see, I'm kind of out there. I definitely am okay getting attention. I'm definitely fine with that. So that is.
You better be as the lead singer. So let me ask you a question then. Who do you pattern yourself after? Debbie Harry, Madonna, Britney Spears? Who's the lead singer of the ladies that you pattern yourself kind of in that genre?
Oh, that's a really good question. Oh, definitely none of those people. Those people are a different league than me.
No.
Oh, trying to think who. I mean, trying to think.
Well, I wanted to make it about a woman.
I know. I'm trying. Oh my gosh, she stumped me. I was so prepared for this. I was so prepared for this podcast. No, I'm not. I mean, I'd probably be closest to Britney Spears, but not Britney's. I can't. I definitely would not be Britney, but it would definitely be in that pop genre for sure. It'd definitely be the dancing and the whole thing. Yeah.
Can you do the vocal fry that she does in her?
Oh, baby. Sure.
Oh, wow. She did.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we needed.
Wow. That's very cool. We'll do that again.
This is what they came for. This is what they needed.
Yeah. Just sing Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. 100.
Yes. So, and we understand that you might do some karaoke as well, right? Are you a karaoke person?
It is my passion. So if I was not a tennis pro, if I did not do sports, I would have definitely done musical theater. That would have definitely been my route. But since that is not my route, karaoke has been a great way for me to still be kind of involved in music without needing to figure out how to be in a band or anything like that. But it's been a great release for me. I have to tell you, like in college, I had like maybe 2 midlife crises in college. One was at 20 when I thought I was like, maybe I'm done with tennis and I need to major in music. And this was my sophomore year. And so I tried out for the Thornton Music School, and the panel said, Amanda, you cannot major in music and be on scholarship for tennis. You can't. And I was going through a rough time. I was really, I don't think like hardcore depression was the word, but I was definitely going through a lot of things that a lot of players at that high collegiate level go through. And they said, listen, you can't do this, but your scholarship, your program here will cover you doing a vocal lesson once a week with one of our music people. Would that be of interest to you? And I said, yes. And that, I think, really saved me as a person, having that outlet. Choir was something I did in middle school and high school, and to kind of not have it around for a while was really impactful. I ended up singing the national anthem at a lot of tennis matches and a lot of other sporting things. My sister played soccer for USC, so I came back and did the anthem for one of her soccer games, I believe her last one, actually, which was really cool.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a
moment. But yeah, so needless to say, music's always been a really important part of my life. It is definitely, obviously I love tennis. I'm so glad that I'm still involved in it, but music has always been my passion. So yes, I need to karaoke. If I haven't been able to do it once a week in a while, but that's the goal, is to do it once a week. So I have that outlet every week to look forward to, and to really kind of release some of the energy that's in here.
So did you do the Star Spangled Banner a cappella?
Yes.
Did you have? Wow. Okay. So, say that's a tough song. You go all over.
You do, but that song actually is kind of pitch wise, like right in my wheelhouse. So, or I've been able to find it right in my wheelhouse. So it's actually one of my favorite things to do, is that song.
Well, sing a couple of bars.
You got it. Let me find it.
We'll let you do that a little bit.
No, I got it. Watch me. Here we go.
Okay, go. No, please. Okay, good. Ready? Good. Please. Go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed At the twilight's last gleaming. Man.
There we go. Hey,
Yeah.
that's the first time we've ever had the Star Spangled Banner on the At the Net podcast. So that's a first. So that was very good.
Thank you.
There was some vibrato in there. I know that. I know that term. Vibrato. We do that. No.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to do the end because I don't think the podcast was ready for the belt.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the second part of this thing. All right. Second set. First paid job.
Well, I guess playing professionally, technically, but quite honestly, I like broke even. And that was a big accomplishment to break even.
No kidding.
If anything, I mean, I was losing money for a couple years, but there was like 1 year I think I was close to, which is because, as many of you know, unless you're like top 70, you are covering all your own expenses, everything when you're playing on tour. So I guess technically that, but after that, it was coaching in my neighborhood and coming back to Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center and coaching for them at Top Seed Academy for a while before I moved to San Diego. So being able to work with my community and my mom's friends and all those things, that was, I guess, my first paid job after playing.
Oh, very nice. Now, let me ask you a question. From a psychology standpoint, did the losing get tough? I mean, because, if you don't get to about 50 in the world, that's usually kind of the break-even point for it. You become 500. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
It's okay. It's a great question. And I love answering it because it gives people a realistic view of what trying to make it is really like. Yes, losing to know that there's going to be one tournament winner every week and there's 32 people in the main draw, possibly 32 or 64 people in a qualifying draw. That's insane to cope with every week. And there's obviously that famous statistic where Roger Federer says he loses, before he kind of broke through, he lost, what was it, like 11 or something straight first rounds. And to have that feeling for a year and knowing like, oh my gosh, like I invested all this time. My parents are, supporting me to do this every week and to not be successful every week and know that you're losing money possibly every week. It definitely gets difficult. I often tell people that often throughout my professional career, you almost feel like you have a love-hate relationship with tennis. I wouldn't have traded playing for the entire world, but I'm not going to lie and tell people that it was roses all the time. It's lonely. It's really difficult, and you need a massive amount of resources to be able to do it. If you're not, getting through immediately, and very rarely are people doing that. I was privileged to get a little help. I got a wild card every once in a while from the USTA, things like that. But otherwise, you're really on your own. And coming out of college where you're used to having a team around you and the coaches and the things, and all of a sudden you are on your own, and to deal with the losses on your own. I mean, I could call my coach, but it's not the same. To be able to come back every week and go, yep, I lost, but I'm going to travel to this next place in the middle of nowhere and play. But also, you're traveling to all these places that are just, everyone thinks we live these glamorous travel lifestyles, and we don't. There are some great tournaments out there, but there are also, times where you're playing, you're like, where are we? So to deal with that week by week is really, really tough. So only the really mentally tough make it on the tour.
So let me ask you a question, I think this is a good question, and we've never asked this question before. Do you think, because you got me thinking about winning and losing, and I'm going to mention pickleball or racquetball, they have a consolation. You can work your way back in from the back draw into the gold medal match and win. Would tennis benefit by doing something like that, or is it better just to leave it the way it is? You lose and you just move on.
I think at the entry at like for our junior tournaments and things like our entry level things, I think it's great. I think to have more people involved and more chances to play, because often that's why we lose people when they start playing tournaments and they lose right away. Why would I want to play again if I'm just losing every week and only getting one match? I think the USTA at least has been trying to, reformat tournaments, in and out again and again to be able to help that and create a couple more matches at certain levels. But in terms of the professional level, there is something to be said for proving that you are the best out there that week. I don't know if it would be fair if I lost and then could magically work my way back into the draw. I think occasionally maybe there are some matches that maybe some things happen that were out of my scope of control of losing. But at the end of the day, most of the times, at least when I lost, if the other player wasn't beating me, like I said earlier, I was beating myself. And if I beat myself, I deserve to be out. But I understand that the want for it definitely obviously make it less of a hard blow if I knew it wasn't the end. But I think at that level, I'm not sure there's a way to change it where it wouldn't also kind of really fairly reward the people that were really crushing it.
Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering.
Good question.
Had thought about that. Well, I never thought about that until we started talking about winning and losing, and then I thought, oh, wait a minute. There's other sports that do something a little differently. Golf. You play at least 2 rounds in golf before you make the cut or not make the cut on Saturday. You get Thursday and Friday. That's why I was just thinking. Okay, 1 match. Boy, that seems a little harsh. And it just popped into my mind. And would we benefit by maybe on the amateur side? Yeah, like you said. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like play tournaments. They don't want to drive down to XYZ city and spend, $1,000, a couple $100 a night for a room, and then, food, gas, all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden just play 1 match. Yeah. That's why league tennis has really benefited from, tournament tennis was great when, AJ and I grew up, and it probably even to some degree, even into the 90s when you were playing, or in the 2000s, league tennis now to me has taken over tournament play. And especially local tournaments that nobody really plays a whole lot of tournaments. And that's a really interesting.
The ones who do are listening to Coach Amanda.
I know they are. Right.
But I think also there's something to be said for, and we're kind of trying to go in this direction of adding more team-based play. That is also going to keep more people. And honestly, the interesting thing about professional tennis is that there are team events. There has been World Team Tennis. There has been all these things, but because there's no ranking points associated with them, it's hard, and it's hard to get people to play. So if to your point, I think if we figured out how to make that worth something to players' rankings, how we could incorporate team tennis into that fairly, I think that would be a big deal. You'll hear every tennis pro loves playing World Team Tennis, loves doing these team events, but because either they're not a big enough paycheck, or because they're not worth ranking points, they need to be playing tournaments for their careers. So if that were somehow integrated, I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Do you think the ITF or ATP or WTA would want that? Just out of curiosity, do you think that they would, or is there some, I
think they would want it. I don't know if they would know how to make it work. I think that would be a really challenging process to figure out how to make that worth ranking points fairly in a team event. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just an interesting talk. I mean, I like watching World Team Tennis, and I've been in several cities that have World Team Tennis, and we've taken members to watch matches, and they've had a great time. Here in Dallas, we had a team for a little bit, and then when I was in San Antonio, we had the rackets that were around for about 20 years or more, and we got a lot of people out in the 80s and into the early 90s in the San Antonio area. So I just was just went down that rabbit hole. So sorry about that.
Why are you apologizing for everything? I'm having a great time.
No, I wanted to say I went to the third set. We're talking, into the second set. That was your first paid job. I thought you were going to be the paper girl for the LA Times or something.
No, I was so focused on sports. I think when one time when I was hurt, I hurt my back when I was in high school. So I worked in my dad's an accountant, and I worked in his office for a little bit, just shredding paper. I was like his intern for a little bit. I guess that was not a paid job.
No, that's kind of expected, right?
Right. Yeah.
You're going to work. Get up at 7 a.m. We're going to work.
Right.
We are. Okay. All right. Favorite movie, TV show? Do you like movies, TV?
Yes. Kind of my husband's super embarrassed of me, but I do. I really do enjoy streaming stuff. It definitely helps me unwind a whole lot. Oh gosh, I watch so much just utter trash. I watch
Bachelorette. Are you a Bachelorette? Don't tell me.
No Bachelorette, no Bachelor. But definitely a lot of Bravo-based a lot of Below Deck is definitely up there because it's all service industry-based things. We do watch some Food Network stuff. We're big fans of Guy Fieri and the Barefoot Contessa, Ina Garten. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I've watched Gilmore Girls probably 3 times. because I'm a big fan of really good banter and really good writing. So I adore that show. Yeah, it's been a lot of streaming stuff. I feel like I just finished like the latest season of Bling Empire, which is also it's embarrassing to admit, but hey, you know what? It captivated me. I wanted to watch it and finish it. So yeah, a lot of different stuff, but yes, I do watch a fair amount of things to wind down. It helps me shut my brain off. I'm someone that's like on like my work email, everything's on like all the time. So to be able to like just totally disconnect to something completely mindless is totally nice. Oh, and then I also binged the latest season of like Never Have I Ever, which is narrated by our own John McEnroe.
Johnny Mac, I love it.
Which is a fantastic show. I'm really, really proud that he's a part of that show. I think it was a really cool connection for tennis, actually. I think it's a very well-written show, and he is amazing in it.
He is amazing.
You cannot be serious.
You cannot be serious. Yeah, it's really
It's so
great.
funny to have a 63-year-old dude doing the voice of a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
the inner voice.
It's so well written. Yeah.
What's it called again?
Never Have I
Yeah.
Ever.
Never.
It's kind of like a teen comedy type of a thing, but it is really well written, and it's a great show.
Somebody had a sense of humor casting
Netflix
McEnroe.
or
Yeah.
What's it on?
Netflix is on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Like I also like go back and forth between like Amazon Prime has like the Making the Cut, the Heidi Klum fashion stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of random different stuff.
Boy, she's all over the board.
She is.
Yeah, it's very conducive to who I am. Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Breakfast, lunch, or
For sure, dinner. My favorite dates with my husband are dinner dates. I really enjoy them. I feel like we get a lot of good conversation done over dinner, and dinner just has the most interesting food. It just does. It has the most options. So, dinner, 10 out of 10.
So is this? Are you making dinner, or are you going out to a local place there in Tucson?
Oh, we try to make dinner a fair amount of nights of the week, but yeah, we'll go out once a week, and it is something I look forward to each week. We've been trying to hit some different places. My husband's a big fan of the tacos and things, so we hit all like the little taco spots. That's his jam. So we've been doing that, but it is fun to kind of step away from our house and what we're responsible for in it, and just having an hour and a half or so just to talk over a taco.
Well, speaking of dinner and dinner parties, let's say, we always like to ask this question of our guests. Who would you invite to a nice soiree, shindig, as we say in Oklahoma, a dinner party with Amanda and her husband?
Yep.
Yeah, we would
Obviously,
invite,
yeah.
But for guests or more,
I'm glad you evolved this question to like say that my husband gets to be included, because I bet a lot of people have walked into that trap and not mentioned their significant other. Okay, so I would say Anna Kendrick is one of my favorite people in terms of acting and music and things. So definitely her. Maybe like an Alan Menken, like someone who created all the scoring for Disney movies. I think he composed most of them. I'm a big Disney fan, and I think all of the music in all of the Disney films has been a big part of my childhood and my existence. So probably someone like that. Trying to think who else. Maybe like could it be alive or dead? Okay,
Yes.
Robin Williams, 100% Robin Williams.
Boy, he'd be interesting, wouldn't he? Boy.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but and maybe like a Lauren Graham who's on Gilmore Girls and also in a lot of film and musicals and things. I love music and I love to laugh. So I think those people would be indicative of those things, and it would be a great time. I don't know. My husband would probably be really overwhelmed by all those things, but I would like it.
Right. No, that's what, and this is your party.
That's right. It's my party.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig. It's my party.
Right. That's right. And you can cry if you want to.
You can cry, and no coffee for Robin Williams.
No. Certainly not.
Right. Would this be like Robin Williams, Mork and Mindy style, or Mrs. Doubtfire? Or?
Oh goodness! Like anything like the
Just all of them.
Doubtfire, Birdcage era. Absolutely. I think that.
Oh yeah, Birdcage. That was fun.
Oh, what a great movie, The Birdcage! Just
Oh yeah.
again, great writing. Well, those are based on a play, I think, but again, just great, just very well done movie.
Well, just real quick, what are you serving at this dinner party? Are we having tacos? What are we?
No, oh my God, I have to eat tacos all the time when we go out to dinner.
Oh, okay. What are we having?
Oh, good question. We're doing some kind of like Thai or Japanese thing. That's, I mean, either it's sushi or pad Thai or pad see those things are all up my alley. I mean, I, to be fair, like all kinds of food, but I would say that Thai and Japanese are definitely two of my top.
So is this spicy or no spicy?
Oh, no spicy.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. Oh my, it's so awful. One time, so my husband loves spicy. He's going to hate how much I'm talking about him on this, but he loves spicy things. And we went to a Thai restaurant once and we both got something similar, but obviously he got like level 10 and I got -3. But when I got my food, I ate it. I was like, wow, it's really, really spicy. And Spencer's like, how's that possible? You weren't like, and so the waiter came back and we just asked and they're like, oh, we might have cooked your food in the same pan that we cooked his food. And I cannot tolerate anything. I'm such a wuss.
Yeah.
Just the contact with the pan.
Yes.
You're like Craig.
Yeah.
Craig is no spicy guy.
Yeah.
At all.
I'm sissy. I'm a sissy sauce. Like in barbecue sauce world, I'm the sissy sauce.
Yeah.
So, I can't handle that. Now he would be man versus food. Like
I go like your husband, number 10,
Yeah.
if there is a 10. My wife actually, the Thai food order is pad see ew chicken number 5.
Yeah.
She goes 5 out of 5.
Cool.
Little German girl loves the spicy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, AJ, yeah, he can sit there and eat the jalapenos just.
I mean, I'll definitely sweat a little up here
Yeah.
and back here, but that's part of the experience for me.
Because I just know it's not going to be any fun, that experience.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
just my stomach. I think, well, very nice. We enjoyed the dinner and the dinner
Yeah.
party. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Is this going to be at nighttime probably? You know, overlooking, it can be anywhere. Like Mount Lemon. We're going to be on top of Mount
Oh,
Lemon.
Mount Lemon is nice. I actually just went there for the first
Yeah.
time like a month or two ago. It's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought that through. Where would it be? I have to tell you, San Diego is really nice. We lived there for like 7 years, and it was a nice place to eat when the sun was setting, and you got to be in one of those restaurants that looks out on the beach and the ocean. It's hard to beat that. Probably be the evening sunset for sure.
Yeah, pretty killer. So that's my next question. Kind of leads into my next question, which I have a feeling what you're going to say.
We know.
East Coast or West Coast?
West Coast, best coast.
Right, there you go. SoCal, right there. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I've been traveling to the East Coast to do some speaking, and trust me, there are some great things about the East Coast. But yeah, I am a West Coast girl.
So more in the southern part where it's a little bit warmer, or do you go up even like into Washington? Maybe a little cooler climate. Around the that Seattle area, or
I love it all. I don't know about, I mean, I've never lived in the Pacific Northwest, so I don't know if I could do the rain that for that big chunk of a year, but I've loved all parts of the West Coast. Every city I've been to has been a fantastic experience. So yeah, all West Coast is equal.
So you're more San Diego or San Francisco?
I'm probably more, I mean, again, I'm very biased because I live there, but yeah, San Diego is an awesome place to live. It is an awesome place for tennis, awesome people there. Tucson has been too. Tucson has amazing people as well. But yeah, in terms of those two cities, yeah, San Diego's, it's hard to beat.
Pretty bueno, huh?
Pretty bueno.
Mountains or beach? Mountains or beach?
Oh, probably beach. Probably beach. I mean, both things. It's so funny when you say that. It's because both things I see obstacles. So like mountains, obviously very rugged and things like I don't hike or anything a lot. And beach, I just think of sand everywhere, hard to park. I think of all the obstacles, but probably beach. Yeah.
So did you surf when you were in San Diego? Just curious. Did you try surfing?
Okay, so I have attempted to surf on 2 to 3 separate occasions. One was actually a bonding activity at USC. That was something we did preseason together. And once when I was on a trip with my family in Hawaii, and both did not go very well. I swear, ironically, for someone who plays tennis, my upper body strength is not amazing. So swimming to get in front of the wave is tough for me. Like I also have this like weird thing where like I struggle opening bottles of wine. Not that I'm doing that all the time, but like I have these weird things with upper body strength that make it, I think, challenging for me to serve.
But have you ever surfed? Are you a surfer?
I haven't. I mean, I've gotten up, I've done the boogie board, but I've never really actually done the whole proper surfing. Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like it'd be slippery too. It looks like that board, if you didn't get that.
Oh yeah.
I guess is there a wax or something down on there or something? Or do you
I have family members. My uncle and his and aunt and their family are like all like extreme like surfer skier people, and I think there is, but like they're all amazing at it. But I did not I didn't inherit any of those skills.
Many of my friends in California, certainly my son, a lot of the people that I know are good at it, and I'm always appreciative that they can do it. And I've only tried it once or twice. I'm like, you guys can have it.
They just like Jess Spalezi, just
Spicoli.
Spicoli.
There you go.
There we go. Do some cool waves of some tasty buds or something. Tasty waves and cool buds.
I'm fine.
Sunrise, sunset.
Sunset, certainly.
Sunset.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
More of a night owl than a early.
Yeah, I mean, I karaoke, so what can I tell you? So until karaoke becomes a daytime activity, Craig Bell.
So you don't get up in the morning for like those 5 a.m., 6 a.m. lessons at La Paloma?
So in Tucson, in the summer I do. So the summer the schedule changes where we definitely start at 6 a.m. and get off the court by 9 and maybe come back in the evening. So it's an interesting adjustment from season to season. But if I had my choice, I can get up early. I'd rather not have to.
Right. Now, I'm with you there. Now he's more of an early person. He gets up. He'll send texts like at 4:30. I'm like,
nice.
Golly, it's like, AJ, come on, because my phone's always by me.
I'm the opposite. My phone is in the other room, so if I'm texting you, I've gotten up.
Right.
And
I was going to say, here's the problem is that so I will also sometimes send texts and emails too early, and the problem is like once I have something in my head that I need to get out, like if I don't do it, again, one of my flaws. If I don't do it, it's just going to sit and it's just going to fester until I take care of it, and I won't be able to sleep. I won't be able to do anything until I know whatever I need to take care of is done. So I get it.
I'm with you. Also, there's life. Sometimes you're on the court at 7. I like to coach early, so I'm getting stuff done between 4:30 and 6:30, then going. Also, our mutual friend Kyle LaCroix and I are often texting, and he wakes up at 4 East Coast time. So
that's great.
So
he and Lane Evans,
he's another one.
You guys should have your own little breakfast club.
We should. Early morning workout with the boys.
Yeah, Lane. You know Lane Evans from
of course,
Norman? Yeah. Oh yeah, Laner. Yeah, he's always showing pictures on Facebook. Where's everybody? It's like 4 in the morning. It's like, Lane, people are asleep.
Why isn't everyone in the gym?
He's like, how are you not in the gym at 3:30?
Yeah.
What is that?
What time do you go to bed? Like 6 p.m. or something.
He eats dinner at 6. Early bird.
Yeah.
He and Laura go to bed. When the sun goes down, I guess.
Absolutely not.
But favorite season? What's your favorite season? Are you a spring person, summer person, fall, winter? What do you like?
I feel like this has changed over time. I really am. I think now that I'm in Arizona, I'm really enjoying fall. I mean, we just started fall, and we're still having monsoon season in fall, which is interesting. We just got a big amount of rain today, actually. When you just survived tolerating the heat of the summer, and you can feel it change and finally start to cool down, the sense of relief there is for that. There's nothing like it. I've become a big fan of the fall.
Interesting. So more like the Indian fall where it's 50-ish, where you can wear a little jacket or something like that.
Yeah, well, fall here is 70.
Oh, 70, yeah.
It's prime. Yeah, it's like between 60 and 70. It is amazing. So if people want to visit me, I tell them, don't come these months, but if you want to come from October to even through the winter and February, March, basically up until April, it's beautiful. You should definitely come and check it out.
What do you like to do in your spare time if you have spare time?
So all of my spare time is usually developed, it's starting to, now that I'm involved in my, as my friends call them, my non-paid jobs, my volunteer roles. I'm starting to devote some more time in there. which has been really rewarding. I'm really looking forward to getting back to that stuff again. But other than that, it's getting ready for what my next karaoke track's going to be. Really, honestly, I take it very seriously. I'm pretty hardcore with it. So that listening to a lot of music, kind of finding where my next inspiration is going to be, I guess. But yeah, and then, my husband doesn't have a ton of time. So being a doctor, so anytime that he's off and not studying, which is not very often, I'm trying to make him hang out with me. Trying to find dinners and trying to find live music. I'm kind of on the constant hunt to find really hip happening music spots here, because that's what I really enjoy. That's what kind of we did yesterday on our day off or whatever, our half day off, is getting a bite and then grabbing, going to a beer garden and enjoying a band. That stuff is really, really, invigorating to me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm finding the music. We're finding the comedy, where the comedy is in Phoenix most of the time, so we're driving for that. Yeah. Music, comedy, that stuff.
In Tucson, is there a karaoke bar that you frequent? So if anybody's in the Tucson listening,
there's
check out.
It's interesting because I actually, now that I speak, I also, anywhere I speak, if I can, I try to find a karaoke place wherever I am too. But in terms of Tucson, it's actually really impressive. There are a fair amount of places that do karaoke, and the good thing about Tucson is because it's not huge, nowhere takes more than 15, 20 minutes, maybe max, to get to. So, I mean, there's a place that offers karaoke 7 nights a week, which is nuts. Yeah. There's a poke establishment that I posted that I was at this week that hosts once a month, and they're the person that runs, it's kind of like coaching, actually. You kind of follow the person there's people that run it really, really well and have big libraries and are just their personalities are great. So you kind of follow the KJ, so to speak, the karaoke disc jockey. And so this particular person runs that karaoke at the Poke Place and 2 other establishments that are pretty. So there's I have 5 choices depending on the day of the week. There's enough good stuff to go around.
Is there alcohol involved, adult beverages at these places?
There are, because you gotta support the establishment. I mean, it kind of depends on the day of the week. Sometimes I try to get food because I'm this is not I don't want to drink on a Monday.
Yeah.
It's a weekend activity. So it just kind of depends on the evening and the place. But yes, you definitely want to make sure you are supporting the place that is having the karaoke.
Right. Well, that sounds like fun. We'll be there in about 24
hours.
Let's go. We'll get out there. We'll go do some karaoke on Monday night. Right?
Listen, whatever next conference I'm at with people, I always try to convince people to go with me. So please, anything that we're mutually at next, I would love that.
Love it.
We found it in New Orleans. There was a karaoke place. Keith Casterland, who used to be a tennis pro in the Dallas area, loves karaoke. I did not know that about Keith. He looks like David Lee Roth. I mean, the guy looks exactly like DavidLee Roth.
And you used to look exactly like Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, we were quite the pair.
Hey, you went to New Orleans? Did you go to the cat? Whatever there's also one that hosts it most nights of the week.
It's on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, you probably went. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. We were there, let's see, it was about 6 or 7 years ago. I've got a picture of Keith and I there. He got me up on stage. I mean, Keith loves karaoke. I couldn't believe that. I was like, Keith Casterland.
Yeah. No, just kind of like everything. You'd be surprised. If you open opportunities to people, you'll find that a lot of people in our industry have all these little hidden side passions, side talents, side things, and various things. I feel like I've learned a lot about people. So singing is something I've been doing also, in opening in some of my presentations at coaching conferences. It's actually a coping mechanism because I actually feel more comfortable singing in front of people than speaking. So it's been a dual interest creating device and helps me kind of get more comfortable, ironically. And the first one I ever did, after I sang for the first couple minutes of it, after the presentation, I had a couple other coaches come to me and wow, that's so cool you do that. I sing too. Let's have a USPTA coaches band. We do. We have a lot of really gifted people in our industry. You just need to ask them, hey, what do you like? Just like you guys are doing today.
Yeah. No, I didn't know there was hidden talent there. All just around every corner, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the third set of the third segment. So we're going to bring this back to tennis.
Right.
All right. We're going to kind of bring this back around to the great game. Your first racket. What was your first racket? Just out of curiosity. And do you still own it?
Okay. So the first racket that I can remember was, I believe, a Prince Thunderlight. I think was that. I don't know if that was before or after the Bandit. It was one of the two. It might have been. I think it was the Thunderlight.
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
I remember the Thunderlights.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was a really nice.
Yeah, I definitely do not have them anymore. I believe that was my first racket. I think the Bandit my parents kept for a while, and I think they used it for a while. But I don't think we have either of those rackets anymore. But yes, I was definitely.
No, you don't have your first racket.
Huh?
Oh no, you don't have that first racket.
No, I don't have. And embarrassingly, I mean, I'm sure. I'm like, especially in my younger days, I'm sure I cracked a racket at some point. I don't. Yeah, yes, I do not have my first rackets anymore.
He has like 300 rackets.
I believe it.
Bobby had.
I believe it.
Has your first racket?
Yeah.
I have a
Do you have a
garage
Bandit?
full. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of Prince and Bandits. I'm more wood or stuff I actually use.
Okay. Right. I mean, he has a lot. How many do you have?
Probably 300.
See, I was
Good.
I've never
No, I
seen so
believe it.
many.
I was looking at like your expertise in the racket department. Yeah, I absolutely believe it.
He has all these rackets that he's got a Babinex or is it a Yanalot?
You'd like this because we've used the same brands. For a time there, I think I was telling you in the pre-show, I needed. I loved the Yonex Dual G 97, but their shoes did not fit me. So Babolat deal, Yonex rackets painted, striped, and butt capped to be Babolat, and then decals that said Babolat. So from 6 courts away, it's rather obviously a Yonex square. Yeah, but it's Craig and I call it the Babonex Yonex.
Right.
So
That's unreal.
I have a pair of those left, and they're so cool.
Oh, that's great.
So in your racket, right, these days, are you a gut player, nylon, poly, combo? What do you use it? Just out of curiosity.
I'm doing a hybrid, so I'm doing the Rexus and the Poly Tour Strike, I believe. So I'm kind of a combo of both, and I've been doing a hybrid, I think, for a while now. Otherwise, well, now I wouldn't break strings quickly anymore. But if I did for a time use all when I was obviously sponsored by, because there's no way I could afford it. I was using all True Gut for a while.
Really?
Yes, and it was lovely.
It is lovely.
But you break it in 2 seconds.
Do you go soft Rexus this way and crosses poly, or poly
Opposite,
mains
poly mains.
soft? Poly mains. I'm the opposite. I do the gut, the real gut. I don't know if you can see the phrase, but the gut this way and the poly.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I do but every week I'm stringing something.
Right.
It's sad. It's okay though.
What tension? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real tight
So
or
I don't think my friend Matt Previti is listening, but he would be so proud of me. So when I was playing, I was string rackets, or not. I don't string rackets. That's also a big flaw for me. I do not string rackets. I don't have the patience for it. Tried to learn 3 times. Never happened. But when I was playing, my rackets were strung at 61. Now I am down to 52. Which is a big deal for me. It took me a long time to be able to come down, but it's important.
And 52 is still on the tight side.
I know, which is
poly.
why it's probably so disappointing to my friends in the racket industry. But yeah, I have been preaching to my players. I've been learning from my friends how important it is to go down in string tension, especially with the new strings and rackets and things we have.
Go
It
tight.
is. It's
Tight.
He is all multi, no poly.
Okay.
And he goes, you went from 70 to 60 something?
70, 65.
65.
That's all right. My husband
I'm
still
down
strings
5.
his rackets tight as a drum. It was actually my biggest sales victory that I got. So my husband's used the same head radical since 2000, must be 2005 at least, and finally got him. He tried a V-Core and he liked it, so he finally got him to change rackets this past year, which is really, really exciting for me.
Love it. Well done. Good job there.
Indoor tennis or outdoor tennis?
Oh, outdoor tennis. Indoor tennis, I do not like knowing that the ceiling is there and that I could hit it. My game style is definitely the high loopy heavy balls, and I don't want anything to even be close to being an obstacle. I also I do better with the slower courts. So the indoor speeds it up quite a bit most of the time. So outdoor courts are my jam. Although I have to say, I would love to teach indoor more, so my skin wouldn't see the sun as often.
So are there any indoor courts in Tucson? Are there?
No.
Is there?
There are
No,
None.
no, because the thing is, it's hard. It's just like Southern California, right? We don't get enough rain consistently or weather or anything to warrant the expense of having an indoor court.
Yeah, well, we do. Fortunately,
You're all set.
There's 2 right there and 2 over there on the other side. You can't see the other 2, but yeah, I'm an indoor court wimp, and I think AJ, he's enjoyed being the indoor court wimp too, haven't you?
Sometimes, but I like the sun and the heat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, I don't like the rain and the sleet that we get in Texas, but
right.
Do you feel like you've played better in heat than cold?
For sure.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. 72 degrees year round. That's where I play the best. So, what do you like, clay then, or are you just more of a hard?
So here's my deal with clay. So clay should be what I like best,
Right.
but because I am a true Southern Californian and I did not grow up on clay, so clay is best for my game style, but my body rejects the idea of sliding. I've been tried to be taught to slide many, many times correctly. And it is just something, I don't know if it's the coordination or what it is, but my body just says no. I have a really hard time. So I would be amazing on clay if I would just suck it up and learn to slide better.
I don't see how those people slide on hardcourt. That is
It's crazy.
I don't know how they do that. I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm like, that's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I cannot believe that people are sliding on clay. Yeah. I mean, on hardcourt.
On hard.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever done that?
I mean, when it's wet. But I do not want to slide on a hardcourt.
No.
And you got not just Clijsters, who's famous for it, Novak Djokovic, but this #1 in the world, Iga Swiatek.
Yeah.
Amazing at sliding.
Yeah. Well, I don't even want to try it. I break my
No. Yeah, exactly. I've never hit a tweener. I stay away from all the things that are fancy. I'm just not built for it.
Well, that was my next question. Most embarrassing moment in tennis. What's your most embarrassing moment?
Oh boy. I have 2 and I'm going to share both of them. I can't wait. Number 1, Amanda gets, I'm playing a 50K in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I've reached the finals. I believe it was my first singles final. And since we were in Allentown, Pennsylvania in, I believe, July, maybe June, but possibly what? Very humid, very hot. And I've got sweatbands. I've got everything that could keep me from, experiencing the horrors of all the sweat and stuff, but it just doesn't stop anything. And I just am sweating a storm. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I go to serve a point and I serve, my racket flies over the net on a serve, and then subsequently, I believe 2 points later, flies over the net again while I'm hitting an overhead, so the other person wins the point. And that's in the finals, so people were actually watching that day. So that's definitely embarrassing. And then, so as a result of me doing well in that tournament, I was privileged to get a wild card to play Cincinnati in the main draw, which is a huge tournament, big deal. My coach went with me, like it was gnarly. I'm trying to remember who I played. I want to say it was Surbotnik. She was ranked 30th in the world at the time. And I'm playing and I'm serving a game and I cannot make my serve. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, how is this possible? My serve is decent. It's unbelievable. And then, so we have a changer. We go to sit down and I notice in my racket that the top string is broken. So I played an entire game with a broken string in Cincinnati in a world-class event. Coach Amanda.
and you couldn't get the serve in.
Clearly.
The tension was clearly not 61. It was more like 41 with one string broken.
Yes.
That is awful.
Yeah. The top though, it's a little pesky one where you just didn't see it happen.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, thank you.
It didn't break from impact. It probably
no, something happened. It was something either with the string or the grommets or something, whatever. But yeah, played a game with a broken string in a high class tournament.
Terrible.
So just curious, when you were playing these tournaments and you were on the tour, did the company, would they give you 8, 10, 15 rackets? How many could you, call up and say, hey, I need a couple of rackets here, and then did you get strung at the tournament, or how does that work? I just curious.
Yeah, so I would get kind of like like coaches do, I believe. It was like I would get a contract for a calendar year for how many rackets I got, but obviously it was more than I get now. It was more closer. Fab Lots was always very, grand to me when I was playing. It was about 6 rackets, I believe, that I had on me.
Okay.
And usually, again, as long as I wasn't cracking sticks or doing anything weird, they would be great about providing me things as I needed them. I think they trusted me with not abusing my relationship with them. But yes, it was about 6 rackets, I believe.
So you could get strength. Could you get gut from them also?
Yes. Yes. At the time, yes. I know that's harder and everything's tougher now. But yes, at the time it was nice that I could get gut through them. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's very curious. I just always am fascinated by the world. Like I always wonder, like Roger, does he go, hey, I need 200 rackets, and they go, okay, or how many pair of shoes, how many, is that something also too? Just curious also too. Do you have an unlimited supply? If you could call up and go, hey,
shoes and things weren't exactly the same. I think they had a limit on those things a little bit, but again, they would give me things when they could. I don't think there was a problem with me getting enough product to get by. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your favorite tournament? Just out of curiosity, all the tournaments you've ever played in, it could be the Calabasas Open, it could be Wimbledon, it could be any of them. Yeah. What's your favorite tournament?
So my favorite tournaments are usually paired with the amazing housing experiences I've had. So when we're playing on the tour, if you're not playing in one of the top, WTA, TPP events, you're not, covered to stay in a hotel or anything. So you have options, right? You can either pay to stay at a host hotel, or sometimes families from the tournament would volunteer to take you into their home for the week, possibly cart you around and take care of you while you're playing. Which is an amazing opportunity. There's been a couple tournaments in San Diego recently that I've had former clients that have been housing players reach out to say hi and say, oh, the player's back. It is a great opportunity. So if you get a chance to, it's amazing. Anyway, the long-winded thing to that is that, so I played a tournament in Lexington, Kentucky, where I played it multiple years and stayed with the same family, who is the Saladins, who are phenomenal. And one year I did get to the finals of that tournament from qualifying. So I won 3 qualifying matches and then got all the way to the finals before losing, because clearly I ran. Well, the player I played in the finals is phenomenal, but also I ran out of gas, certainly. But that tournament's always going to have a special memory for me. There's a tournament in Kansas City where I made a great connection with the club there and their teaching professionals and their academy. So to have them come watch me play every day. And I never did well in that tournament either, I don't think. I think I might have done well in doubles one year, but that tournament's great. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Midland, Michigan, which I believe is still running. Midland, Michigan is an incredible town. They the towns that completely center their whole calendar year around this tournament, housing all the players, providing pro-am opportunities for players so they can make extra money. There was food at the courts every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can tell how much love this community has for that tournament. And the same goes, it's not a professional tournament. Well, it does have a prize money tournament component, but the Ojai, the Ojai probably overall is my favorite tournament. It's a tournament that's over 100 years old. I've played the junior college division and the open division of that tournament. And again, it's another town that centers around its event. It has like a T on the finals day. All the finals are played in a large public park. There's just nothing like it. They use every tennis court in the city of Ojai. Those tournaments are the ones that are special. There's lots of tournaments, and I've done well in Ojai, and there's lots of tournaments that I've done well in, but the ones that are the most memorable are the ones where I've had a connection with the community.
Just curious, did you all, when you were at USC, did you play at Athens? Was the women's tournament, NCAA's, where was it?
Once. So once it was in Athens, once we played at Stanford, once was in Texas, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, really? Down in Austin? Did you all play down at UT?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. I believe so.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, somewhere. I just wondered if the women's, I know the men's, Athens is always the place that, the guys like to play at. I know that it's moved around different places. I didn't know if the women, wasn't in San Diego for a while? It seemed like that they played in San Diego.
No, they have a preseason tournament for regionals in San Diego, and they have a national preseason tournament that's played in LA at the Riviera usually. But again, I think a lot of things have changed. They're starting to kind of change up the formats of things. And obviously the national campus coming up and hosting a lot of these events now. So yeah, things are changing, but yes, but a couple of them have been in California.
So do you like the way college tennis is going? The opportunities or the format, the formats they've kind of tinkered with a little bit. Are you a fan of that? Do you like the shorter version? It seems like they're trying to do rock, paper, scissors for college tennis. Is that
meaning the shortened formats?
Yeah. What do you think about college tennis? Because you're obviously an All-American, a really fine player. What do you think about college tennis right now?
It's so tough. I have to I know for the players it's not great. The players I would imagine would prefer the longer format. I think it's a more true representation of how a match would go. However, I have to tell you, I understand the side of where people are coming from by trying to shorten it. And that's kind of what the same theory as World Team Tennis as well, is that we want to make it more viewer friendly, especially at the collegiate level where it is supposed to be a community-based thing. And, how do we get more people to come to tennis matches? How do we get tennis to be more of a visible sport? We're losing a ton of college programs every year for different reasons. And obviously we don't want that to happen. So it's hard because I don't really know the right answer right now, but I definitely, as a player, I wouldn't love the shorter format, but I totally understand why it's being done. I hope it is creating a little more vision for future college tennis. But yeah, I think that there's also, there's a big call to marketing, and there's, same thing with professional tennis and doubles. There's been this big campaign of watching more doubles over the past year. Like people that ask me who my favorite players are, now, I'll tell you, it's like Gabriela Dabrowski and Desiree Kravchik and Sabrina Santamaria and Caitlin Christian, who are former Trojans. These people that are all doing amazing on the doubles tour, but we're not really talking about it a lot, which is interesting because that's what, at least at where I come from at the country club level, that's what most of our players are playing. And we need to encourage them to watch more doubles. And I think that's the same at the college. I think collegiate doubles has a real shot at being more visible because it is the team dynamic in its truest form. And I think it is the points are shorter and faster. And I think it's something that fans should be able to really get behind. So I would really, if I were involved in the collegiate process, yes, shortening, I guess, helps, but I would also be trying to glorify doubles more. Truly. I think that also can be very marketable for a college audience.
That's a compelling argument too, because I was watching from Ostrava, Czech Republic. The semis of the women's doubles was very poorly attended. There are more people on this podcast than in the audience.
In Ostrava? Yeah.
But the finals was very well attended.
Yeah.
And all I could think of is, well, it could be consumer demand. It could be time slotting. It could be the way they promoted it. It could be that the doubles and the singles were on the same ticket, and maybe that's what helped. But I can tell you this much: I don't think it was that close a match. It was something like 3-4 or something. But the American girls won it, and I was riveted the entire hour and a half. And I obviously I'm biased. I love doubles. I love tennis in general. But more people would have absolutely dug that. And I like your idea.
Yeah.
That if we can promote it differently, promote it better, or rah a little bit about the doubles games, because I came from singles, but I love doubles too. And now, how often am I playing singles? Sometimes it's mostly doubles.
And a lot of these players are coming from our collegiate system, like Juliana Olmos, another great example, one of the top doubles players in the world, USC alumni. I think it's a great pathway for fans to follow, certainly. So I think that we do. I think we all have to kind of continue to educate our markets on how fun it is to watch doubles.
Shout out to Olmos. I love her nickname, Goo, people call her, right?
Juju, yeah.
Juju, that's it. What a great name.
Now, speaking of USC, probably about the time you were at USC, there was probably some pretty good football, wasn't there, going on?
Certainly, yes. There really was. It was quite the time to be a Trojan, I have to tell you, in the fact that our men's tennis team was crushing it, the women's tennis team doing well, and the football thing. I'm not a football huge fan, so you weren't going to find me at tons of the football games. I told Eric this story about how we were actually traveling. As a freshman, one of our first travel experiences was going to Notre Dame. We were playing them like in a preseason, like fun match. And we were going to the football game that was there at the time. And about 3/4 of the way through the football game, like, I got to go take, like, I have a midterm, like, I need to take like a takeaway midterm. And I left. And that was that one football game where we won at the last second. It was like one of the greatest collegiate football games of all time. And I left. But yes, there was some great stuff. I mean, I have one Hanukkah, I got to give my dad a football with, Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart signatures and things. And I was like the greatest kid ever. So yes, it was, I really enjoyed my experience at USC. Like everyone, we probably all had our ups and downs as being an athlete, in a collegiate program. But I mean, what a school to be a part of in terms of community and family. I mean, even now with their alumni network, it is pretty incredible. There is really nothing like being a Trojan, I have to tell you.
You didn't go to the Coliseum much?
Not much. It's tough, man. It's so loud and crowded, and man, it's tough. I'd rather almost watch it on TV. It's definitely a worthwhile experience to do. But yeah, I couldn't do that every week.
I thought everybody went to the Coliseum, and hung out there. Yeah. Or did you go to USC, UCLA games? Did you go to those?
Yeah,
games?
you had to.
Yeah, right.
You definitely had to. I probably missed like one or two of those, but yes, for the most part, I was there watching us try to beat the Bruins for sure.
Well, I had heard that through a local person, maybe a little bird, that you missed the Bush push.
Yes.
USC versus Notre Dame.
I did. I missed it.
I remember that game.
Gone.
I remember that game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were just like, I got to study,
Yeah.
I don't care about football. Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. Who cares about those guys? They're not that good. We're gonna lose anyway. And then all of a sudden, we come back.
Go figure.
I heard that. Do you like to watch tennis on TV?
Not as much. When I'm not on the court, I think that my everything I watch is usually in the comedy or music space. I definitely will watch every once in a while. Obviously, being a part of a USTA committee, I've gotten to go to the US Open live for the past couple years. I had honestly never gotten to go to the Open before. And man, what an experience it was to be able to go and to do it that way. And to be that close to that caliber of tennis, especially this past year. Oh my God. I didn't get to see all the tennis because I was working, but the tennis I did get to see was absolutely incredible. So I like I said, I do need to start watching more tennis.
So I find it fascinating because some people do like to watch it and then some people don't. I didn't know if you had more time, would you watch it probably, or is it just something that, it's okay.
Not even just tennis. It's just there's something about sports. I haven't ever really gotten into watching tons of sports. I've had like moments where I've watched some basketball, hockey is kind of exciting. And then obviously, if you're at the Open, that's an experience. To be at the tennis live is definitely a worthwhile thing. But yeah, and I think when Kim Clijsters was in her prime, she's always going to be my favorite player. I was definitely watching a little more then, following her, and I'll watch when my friends are playing. Like again, when some of these collegiate people are playing doubles, Danielle Lau, who's still doing pretty well in singles. That's a USC alum. I really do like, following people, and I'm hoping that in the future too. I think that's I think it was my uncle actually a couple weeks ago that was telling me, who's a surfer and does other things, but it really enjoys watching tennis. And I was asking him, why tennis? Like, of all these other things you enjoy and do. And his answer to me was, well, since tennis is one-on-one, you get the best chance to actually see the personality of the players, like via the filming of the matches. Like, with team sports, there's too much going on. You can't see that. In tennis, you really get to know people. And I hope we really can capitalize on that in the future, and that we have a chance to really, if people are open and authentic, that we can really showcase players and really do a better job of marketing our sport if we can.
You're good. You should be on that USTA committee, I think, right there. That's I'm nominating you for that, whatever that is on the pro side, on the WTA.
It's a tough job, I have to tell you. Like, I get it. Like all these things now, being a part of like boards and committees. Like I've been on a USPTA division board and USTA things, and like one of the biggest learning experience has been learning how difficult it is to make change, to get things done. Like we could have all these great ideas, but to be able to implement them properly, to be able to do it when the timing is right, to be able to market them correctly, to be able to do what's best for tennis takes a lot more time than people give it credit for.
Yeah, and I think sometimes 2 years isn't enough. Isn't it usually a 2-year term?
Oh, for board service?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. So it's a 2-year term at a time, and then it can come up for reshuffling if
Right.
depending on how interview process and all that stuff goes. It's a pretty interesting process. But yes, you're right. The terms themselves are 2 years, and some people have thought that that's too short. But I think there's pros and cons to having any term limit. I'm not sure that there is a best practice yet. But yes, that is correct, that the board's terms are 2 years.
Because I think sometimes you get in there for about a year trying to figure out what's going on, and then the next year you can kind of see how to maybe do a few things, and then all of a sudden you're gone. And it just seems like it goes by really quick. A 2-year commitment isn't that long a time, and especially for somebody new, it might be
sure. It depends.
I wouldn't say overwhelming, but at least somewhat.
No, that makes total sense, and it depends on the term too. It's like especially in this past term, sport had to deal with COVID. Like they didn't have a whole lot of time to get stuff done. So, but as you take that into account. We all, we understand that, and we do understand that when you're a new board member, that there is going to be a learning curve. And yes, there is, in that second year, there's, people feel like there's pressure to make impact, but I feel like, there's opportunity, and I feel like we get enough sides of the story to be able to tell hopefully what's going on. But you're right, 2 years is an absolute short term. So who knows? It kind of depends on what's going on with the organization and what it needs for what's going to be right for it.
What would be your favorite role in the USTA? What would you really like if you could get on a board or a committee? Is there a place that you could see your best interest at this point?
Oh my God, I don't know.
The karaoke.
Yes, we need to build that. Well, I mean, I have expressed interest in doing things in terms of social tennis. I'm very passionate about that. I'm also very passionate about our tennis on campus program. I think that also is a great potential for growth, for more tennis fans, for more tennis players, and for more tennis coaches. I know we've kind of we've wanted to tap into that market to kind of have our next tennis coaches. I think that's been there's been some obstacles there. I would love to be involved with that. But yeah, I am really at the end of the day, I'm hoping at some point to be involved with the 30,000 foot view of tennis. I think I still have some listening to do, but I think over the time that I've been serving, I've gotten to hear a lot of sides of the story of tennis. And I feel like I've been able to listen and translate them well for groups of people. So I'm hoping that in one form or the other, I get some kind of voice in how tennis is shaped in the future, and however that's best served.
I think she's going to have a voice at some point. You're working your way through the system. Eric and I were talking, and he goes, "Hey, Amanda's going to be president of the USTA.
Great.
We're going to go sit in the president's box." I go, "Okay, I'll be there." So you got one fan behind you.
That's great. Well, that means a lot coming from Eric, because Eric has obviously seen a lot of the game. He knows everyone in the tennis industry, so that means a lot coming from him.
He's an old fart.
No, he just knows everybody.
Yeah, he does. Oh, yeah, he
like
does.
You, like Craig, yeah.
Around this area, I kind of know a few people.
Yeah.
I'm sure around the Arizona area, Southwest, he knows.
Amazing. Literally, the one conversation, like I have, there's only a couple times a year you get to be in a room with John Embry, and I feel like every time I've said hi, he's like, "Oh, how's Eric doing?"
First thing.
Yeah.
What's Carmelo up to?
Yeah, he's very popular.
Did you have any superstitions or rituals when you were playing? Just curious. Did you not walk on the lines? Did you, you'd be like Rafa, where you're sitting there, all over the place, because he does that after before every point. Was there anything that stood out that you did? It's got maybe quirky or not quirky?
Nothing, I think, in particular. I think it was more of a lines of, I could feel like when something was going well, I would stick to it. Meaning if I had just hit an ace with a serve, I would try to collect that ball again. Ironically, I think a lot of people like to serve and start with like any ball that's like newer. I'm the opposite. I actually like playing with the balls that are a little more worn. I think that was my only real superstition. I'm trying to think what else. Nothing else major. I don't think I had any major like changeover things. I think I had phases. I had different phases where like in between points, I would have to sing different little songs in my head to keep calm because all I wanted to do was yell at myself. And I'm also any umpire can tell you that I have all these running monologues with myself, at the fence, between points. So oftentimes I would have I'd have little songs. I think I sang Be Our Guest, I think from Beauty and the Beast for 3 tournaments in between points to myself to try to calm myself down. But those are my quirks, but definitely not the cracks thing. I actually, turned my ankle going to pick up a ball and had my foot go in a crack. Like I said, I'm not the most graceful person, but I should have added that. I have 3 embarrassing tennis stories.
Did you actually hit a crack and fall over?
No, but this is why it's really embarrassing. I was literally just going to pick up a ball that was near, it wasn't a crack, but it was like a separation between where the court and where like the clubhouse was, just like a little gap. And I went to go pick up a ball and my foot, I don't know why I stepped, I just did it. I stepped in the crevice and just turned my ankle, and not great. My parents were not thrilled.
So if you had, did you feel like you had a lucky outfit, or like did you have to eat at the same place? Like say you won a match, and so you had this certain breakfast or this certain lunch, you felt like it was lucky. Did you keep doing that?
Yeah, if I won with something, I would definitely kind of try to keep things very similar. Yes, there was definitely a knack to that as well, for sure. Yeah.
Lucky shoes, lucky socks, those kind of things.
I think it was more of, I don't think it was the clothes. I think there was something to be said though about things I was eating for breakfast and things like that. I would be more consistent with that stuff. I don't know. The clothes never did it for me. Apparently, I never felt attachment to clothes or lucky shoes.
Because there are quirky people like that. If they win a certain hat, or they have a headband on, or underwear. Sometimes I've heard people go, no, I've wearing the same underwear.
Oh, that's funny. I believe it. Yeah. We're all interesting, right? So I totally believe it.
From a psychological standpoint, we're all a bunch of weirdos, a bunch of quirky weirdos.
That's what makes us fun. We're supposed to be that way. Yeah.
So question about, I know you all might have kids at some point. Would you want your kids to play recreationally or competitively, do you think? Or like,
absolutely.
No, not really?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like our sport is incredible. I have in my head already told myself that if my future child does play tennis, I will not be coaching them past the age of 6 or 7. I do strongly believe there is it is tough to be a parent coach. That relationship is tough to keep, and it has gone well a couple times, but not very often. And I am fully, I could save a lot of money not doing it that way. But yeah, I would really like them to play tennis though. I think it's given me so much in terms of, who I am as a person, obviously just fitness, staying healthy. I met my husband playing tennis. We've met tons of friends running that sip and serve program in San Diego for as long as I did. We met so many incredible people. We got invited to a wedding for 2 people out of that program. I just think that it is the most gratifying sport, that it gives so much back to you that I couldn't imagine having them at least not try. I wouldn't try to force it, but yeah.
Good answer, because that's why it's going to kind of lead also to this next question. And I'm getting ready to round the corner here. We're getting to the home stretch. What sport would you have played if it wasn't for tennis? Is there a sport that you could see yourself doing besides tennis, maybe?
So until I was 13, I was playing both softball and soccer in addition to tennis, or maybe 12. Softball. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was playing both of them at the competitive level too. Soccer, I was playing at the club level. Softball, I was just kind of making the cusp of the club level. I was kind of the bench warmer of the club team. I don't know if I would have stuck with soccer. I mean, my sister did it. My sister is a phenomenal athlete. I'm not sure I would have stuck with soccer though, as long as she did. It's a great sport too. My coaches were always thrilled. My tennis coaches were thrilled that I played soccer because of the footwork translation. So maybe I would have stuck with soccer a little longer. I don't know. The other sports I feel like I tried because my parents played volleyball and basketball. I tried both those things. I was terrible, and I'm not going to like anything I'm terrible at. So yeah, it probably would have been the soccer or softball that I would have continued with, most likely.
If you wouldn't have been involved in sports like you are right now, what would you be doing? What would Amanda Fink be doing?
I would 100% be doing something in the music or musical theater space. It's something that, if anything, I wish I could have gotten to do more of growing up. My mom let me do one show growing up, and then after it, she was like, yeah, so this was great, but it took up a lot of time. And remember, you're playing sports. It's tough. But yes, if I wasn't playing any sports at all, that's definitely the route I would have taken. I am so fond of musical theater. I admire so much the people that are in that industry and what they do on a day in and day out basis. I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's another high energy occupation. So that's definitely what I would have poured kind of my heart and soul into, is probably in that space.
That was easily the Disneyest answer of the night. Well done there.
Yeah. No, did you just out of curiosity, you're making me think about this. If you being an actor or actress, something like that, did you ever go back and watch any of your old tennis matches, or did you not like to watch yourself?
No, that's awful. Has anyone ever said that they like watching themselves play? I didn't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't
no
know.
way. No, it's so awkward. Oh, the times that I had to do it, I just hate, because my forehand backswing is so big and my serve is very good, but I feel like very awkward. So watching it is almost painful. And trust me, and the times I've watched a couple occasions of me get mad at myself in between points, and is that embarrassing? Apparently it never stopped me from doing it, but yeah, it's definitely very, very painful. It's important. I think it's a good learning experience, but it is very painful to watch yourself play.
Yeah, so I was wondering, if your coach say, "Okay, Amanda, we're going to go watch, 2 or 3 minutes of this, and this," and I didn't know if that was something that you enjoyed. Or
no,
did you learn? No,
not playing. No, I think I would rather. I can rewatch myself doing karaoke or that stuff,
right.
But for some reason, the tennis. No.
No, thank you.
Can't.
All right, last question. All right, we always like to end with the showstopper right here, and this is the big one right here. So, if you were the commissioner of the great game, and you're entrusted to the overall, great game itself, would you make any changes? Or are there some change? Do you like the way it is, or it can be amateur tennis, professional tennis, college tennis? Is there something that you see that the great game might need or not need? You just like the way it is?
So, great question. At this point in the state of tennis, oh my gosh, look how official I sound. In where we are, and I think all that I've gotten to learn and listen to in the past couple years, it's time. So we've come, not out of COVID, and that's such a cliche statement, but now that we are kind of in a place where we are kind of going back to business as usual, it's time to start getting more people together and having more conversations. I feel like we did a fair amount of listening, and there were some changes that were implemented and maybe rolled out too quickly, maybe needing more testing, maybe needing more thoughts and opinions. The hard part is that in tennis, there's so many people involved in it that it's hard to get everyone's take on what we should be doing better, whether it's in how we run tournaments or, what our mission is. Our mission is to grow tennis, but, it's such a large task. What we have to prioritize what we're doing, whether it's the USPTA, the USTA, the PTR, whatever. We've been trying to kind of fill all these voids and poke at all these holes that are in the cliche leaky bucket, so to speak. We have to start having some serious conversations with different people from different necks of the industry to find out what are our priorities. What should we be focusing on for the next 2 years? We can't do everything right now, right? US Open this past summer was excellent, but there were some things that, the retiring and the other things that kind of made that. And so kind of like COVID, it's we have new players. How do we keep them? We had a great US Open. How are we going to have a great US Open again when we don't have Serena retiring or we don't have these things that are already in place for marketing? We need to start reaching out to people that aren't heard all the time. It's really easy to have all these conversations within the committees and the boards, but how do we reach out to, people that are from club, parks and recs, schools, the people that are on their, as I like to call them, on their islands and independent, and how do we bring them into the family? How do we make everyone feel included and heard? And then we can decide on what the priorities are in the future. I think, you and I all know that we need to find our next generation of coaches. We need to continue to figure out how to retain players, which I still believe is an all level based play and more social play and team based play. We need to figure out our digital stuff. We need to figure out how our tech plays into the future, how we can still kind of be on the forefront of tech like many other sports organizations are, but still maintain the personal relationship we have with our clients, with our customers, with our colleagues. That's also really challenging. So I think that our communication and transparency, being the key word, is going to be very, very key in how we're going to grow tennis. So we need to talk now, and we need to be transparent about what we're going through in tennis in order to make it better.
Boy, that's a heck of an answer. That's a lot. There's a lot in that answer, right?
Well, I've been thinking, I like I said, the great game is, as you've said many times, is really important to me. Like I said, it's given a lot back to me, and I want to make sure that if ever I am to leave it, I'm going to leave it in the best possible state for people to keep making it bigger and better.
That's right there. That's why she's going to be USPTA president. She's our future leader.
Print that.
Right. You can put that in 3-inch headlines, as Jimmy said, here around the Cowboys.
I think I still have a lot to learn before that, but thank you. That's very kind.
No, it's a big thinker. You've got to think big. Yeah, and some of the things that go on in the game. I know that, like I said, college tennis is trying to shorten the format a little bit. Like the Davis Cup. Are you a fan of the Davis Cup? Or the Fed Cup, I guess, staying in each country or playing in one particular site. I know that was kind of a controversial move.
Yeah, I don't know, the Billie Jean King Cup, the Davis Cup. It's that's a difficult call too. If I'm running this tournaments, like I always like to say that I want to start small and be overcrowded and have it be like huge demand and then expand. So, I think it's smart to be able to put that event in a centrally localized place where you're going to have the big audience. Again, that could be different every year depending on what's going on. But again, doing some testing and marketing and things and finding out, okay, where are we going to get the biggest audience? Because that's what we want right now, is we want to prove that tennis is awesome. And we need to show it by putting our events in places where we're going to get the attendance. And then like everything else, other places will follow. Wow, what a cool event. Look how great that looked. I want that here, and I will get people there. That's got to be how it spreads. Oftentimes we kind of try lots of different things, but we got to be more data-driven based thing here and be able to figure out how to make our right moves.
That's a great answer. I'm telling you, she's going to be there someday. We're going to be at the Open going, hey, we knew her, Amanda. Yeah.
Well, it's an honor. Like I said, I like when I reached out to you guys, I really have enjoyed what you've done. I've enjoyed like all the people that you've gotten to talk to. I think that this podcast is fantastic. I'm just honored to be a part of it. So, and I'm hoping too that like part of my reason for reaching out to you is that I want to make sure that I'm sending alert out there. There's lots of really awesome upcoming people that are doing some crazy cool stuff that we just don't know about yet because you haven't told anyone. Craig and AJ are awesome. If you are doing really cool stuff, you should tell them because maybe they'll have you on the At the Net podcast with Craig and AJ.
We're so honored that you've graced us with your humor and your humility and your skill this past couple hours. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Absolutely. Thank you both.
Well, we've taken 2 hours of your time, but we can take a couple of hours.
Like I said, I'm here for it. I'm happy to talk to you guys anytime about anything. It is super fun.
This was, I'll show you how much information I have on you. This is all your information.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I researched heavily in there, and I was sitting there going, okay, now where can I throw this in here? Where can I throw that in there?
This is my copy.
And yeah, so he's got a couple of copies, but I'm scribbling all the time also too, as as I'm talking to you. I'm thinking about things, but so we can ask one quick question from page 2. All right. Do you believe in ghosts, apparitions, or the paranormal? Have you ever, are you?
It's interesting. I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I believe in some kind of spiritual presence. I don't know if I would define it as a ghost, but I do feel like sometimes, whether it's, seeing a rainbow, like there's just sometimes that you see something and you can feel someone just kind of going through you, someone that you've lost or someone that you love. I do feel like there is some presence around us. I don't know if I would define it as a ghost, but definitely not aliens. I don't subscribe.
You see the little green man?
No, I don't. I mean, I have to imagine there is something else out there, but I don't know if it's a little green man looking like a little gel thing. I don't know.
You're not going to live long and prosper like Mr. Spock.
No.
Star Trek? Are you not a Trekkie?
No, I have family members that are, but I know I'm not. No, like I said, my arena is the Disney and the musicals. That's my geek arena for sure.
You're gonna stay in that lane.
Yes, that's definitely my lane.
Well, we've taken a couple hours of your time. That's the second page that we get to on the next.
Awesome.
So we'll bring you back, and then we'll start going into another direction that a like-minded person named Art Bell used to do America's Coast to Coast. Have you ever heard of that guy?
I have. I've heard the name. Yes.
Coast to Coast. He did it on about 2 a.m. till about 6 a.m.
Really?
He's got to be related to you.
Oh yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, oh my gosh, should I know that he's related to Craig?
No, he did his show, a radio show. It was very popular for years. He's passed away a few years ago, but it was unbelievable. He started talking about stuff like that. He had people that were involved in ghost sightings or paranormal or UFOs, and so he's interesting. It was interesting. I was out driving late at night, going up to Utah, when I was in school with Sturmo up there, and I'd be, driving late at night, and I'd be listening to Art Bell Coast to Coast. It was some wild ass stuff. I'm telling you.
Sure, man.
I was like, man, what's this guy smoking? What bunk is he in? It's like, so we're gonna have you back, and we'll go deep on the back page of page 2.
Awesome.
into that, because for a couple hours, you've been a great guest. Couldn't have, Yeah, that went by fast. I was sitting there looking at this. I'm watching the roadcaster here, and we've been at 2:06 with you, and we started 30 minutes late, so we apologize.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, we got to talk about, because eventually, I didn't mention it earlier, but when you asked me, things I'm trying to do in the future, I've been posting all these little videos on Instagram, and I'm hoping tips of, surviving the service industry. So I'm hoping at some point, as I find the ones that are the most, the most commented on and things, I'm trying to create almost like the service industry Bible, almost the things everyone has to know to be good at working with people. So I'm hoping maybe to have a little more of that done next time I talk to you too.
Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they're in the Arizona area or maybe on YouTube. Or is there a email address, website? What do you got?
Absolutely. I don't have a website. You'd think I would by now, but I don't. So if you go, La Paloma's website should have my email on there. It is the amanda.fink@westonlapaloma.com. I also have Facebook and Instagram. Instagram was definitely a COVID ad, but it's been doing just fine. You can find me on those things as Amanda Fink Moore. And feel free to, and these guys have my personal email as well. I really feel free to reach out to me with any comments, questions, anything. I live to connect with people. It is my thing. So I would love to hear from you.
Well, it's been great connecting with you tonight. It's been a real pleasure, real honor. I knew you were going to be a great guest. Looking up when you first reached out to us, and I was sitting there going, "Oh wow, Amanda Fink, man, she was a heck of a player in the Southern Cal Jewish Hall of Fame." Yes.
I was inducted into the Southern California Jewish Hall of Fame. It's a great honor, and it's quite the award.
Right. No, I was sitting there going, wow, that's really exciting. All American, tour player, all these fabulous experiences. Calabasas High School's favorite daughter right there for the Coyotes.
That's right.
So Yeah, we searched deep and wide for all.
Good research.
That's
All
very good.
Well,
Coyotes.
The Coyotes, yes. Yeah, I'm a mascot-driven person.
He knows every high school and college.
That's very
In
impressive.
the
Very impressive.
Well, it's easy. Yours is the Trojan. We all know.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
USC. That
Which
was
is
easy.
wait, now I have to know, which is your favorite mascot?
Me?
Yes.
Oh my God, the Stormy Petrels of Ogle.
Okay.
That's
It was number two on David Letterman's list
Okay.
of wacky mascots.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think
Was it-
Anteaters, UCI.
Yeah,
I
UCI.
mean, it could have been Banana Slugs,
Oh.
UCSC.
UCSC.
May have been.
I was about to ask
Yeah.
if that was up there because that's a pretty good one.
Those are the top three right there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a let's see, there's a guy here locally named Norm Hitzkes. You wouldn't know him, but he does funny mascots, high school mascots. And there was a city, I think, in West Virginia named Polka. And guess what their mascot was?
Dots.
The polka
Gotta
dots.
be the dots.
Oh yeah. That's
Amazing.
Oh,
The polka dots.
The polka dots. Yeah, it's it just I just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That kind of
that's
humor
cute.
is fascinating to see what like when he said the Stormy Petrels, I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So
And they even pronounce it Petrels.
Petrels,
like,
is
really,
it Petrels or Petrels?
I mean, in
Well, the
English,
Petrels.
in the original British
Yeah.
English
Petrels.
by James Edward Oglethorpe, I'm sure it was Petrels.
Petrels.
But in Georgia, it's Petrels.
Petrels.
Yeah.
Interesting. So have you ever heard of a Stormy Petrel?
No, I haven't.
It's a bird this big, capable of intercontinental flight from Portugal to Georgia,
Okay.
from Florida to Spain, and it's. I think in Latin the motto is "Necit cedere," which means he does not know how to quit, or she doesn't know how to quit,
Oh,
because they can fly
Solid.
2,000 miles.
I
Yeah.
can get behind
Yeah,
that.
it's a
That's
good
great.
Yeah, I love
Right.
it. I
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah.
So, but been a great couple hours. Go back and talk to your husband now. You guys go have dinner, whatever, right there.
Couple tacos and
Couple
some
tacos.
live music.
Right there. And maybe some karaoke there. At the
Oh my
end.
gosh, he hates it. No, he would never go to karaoke with me. He doesn't want me doing it in the house. He's like, please no.
Well, maybe you might have to go up to Phoenix and go to the Devil House.
There you
we go.
go. Yeah.
Sure.
Double
I don't think it's still
house.
around,
Yes.
but- Right. Was it around? Did you all ever play ASU at when you USC? Did you all ever come over there and play ASU?
We sure did. Yeah, the fans were they were rambunctious. The fans.
I bet.
So did you? Was the Devil House still around when you all were there?
I don't know.
It was
I have-
certainly around when we were there.
Greg, I have to
you
tell
didn't go to
you,
the Devil House. Oh, come on.
I was pretty boring in college. I did not go out very much. I did not. So no, I would not know about the Devil House, unfortunately.
So I'll tell you one story about the Devil House, and you can tell.
Yay!
Okay, so it was about 10 minutes before closing. I think it was about 11 o'clock.
Yep.
And none of us had a ride home. And so we all went outside, started looking around, and saw a guy with a truck, and I rode on a guy with a motorcycle. And so we all took off to the hotel, and it was wacky stuff about how we got home. And Eric was part of that. And I think we'd had a few adult beverages
I bet you had a couple.
it was like dollar pitcher night, and everybody pitched in to who didn't have a dollar. And
Yeah.
it was hijinks that college. If you can imagine, the Devil House back in the day was definitely the place to be for young single males who wanted to see what was going on in the big city. So,
Yep.
But yes, we did do that, and we always used to have initiation there as well, and people had to have a beverage or two, and then some would even mix some alcohol, some different alcohols, and it was not
In the pitcher of beer.
It was not
Ouch.
good. It was not good. So
Yeah.
Things that would no longer fly today.
No way.
I don't know how we survived. Phoenix was just a real. I would not have been good at ASU. Let's put it that way. There was a lot of places.
Too much.
You could get in trouble in Phoenix. Phoenix was. But yeah, Eric, he was part of that debauchery and at the Devil House, and I'm sure that my hangover is still, my head is still pounding from the Devil House days. But yes, we all look like a bunch of hooligans. I think he was part. He might have ridden back in the truck, in the bed of a truck, and I was on
It's so funny you're telling this. He's a 60-year-old man.
Yes.
He's her boss.
And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Right.
And anyone that's listening that's a member of our club, trust me, is here for it. So it's great.
Right. Yeah, you're going to have to ask Eric about the Devil House, about what happened up in Phoenix.
Yep.
And
1983, something like that.
About 83. That one, 82, 82.
Yep.
Actually, we had played at college, and we spanked them pretty hard. And they actually ended up showing up, and I think we bought them some beer or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the toast was one of our other friends said, to the first team we beat 9-0. It was like, oh, wait, don't say that.
Ouch.
You know, we were like, oh, no, that's okay. He didn't mean to. I think he'd had a few beverages as well. But
Pitcher.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of fun. That was a really good city to have a good time, let's put it that way. Like Atlanta, like L.A., I'm sure L.A., there's some stories about the LA area.
Sure.
The Whiskey A Go-Go. Did you ever go to the Whiskey A Go-Go?
No, I told you I'm boring. I literally only just became less boring when I started coaching. Maybe I was so tunnel vision with tennis and studying and it was all. And and quite honestly, even when I was playing professionally, I was afraid of everything. Like I would never be like if I get lost somewhere, I was scared of everything. So I was no fun for a long time.
Well, you have come out of your shell, and we're appreciative of that. So thanks again for joining us tonight, Amanda.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun. So we'll have you back for round 2 here shortly.
Well, maybe we'll do an Instagram one.
There you go.
Wednesday
Happy
night.
to.
Yeah, and we'll share some of your service industry biblical proverbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
And then we'll go into page 2 questions. We got
awesome.
more page 2 over here, so that's more some fun. That we'll get into the dark side of Art Bell, America's Coast to Coast.
Sweet. Can't wait.
So,
good stuff, you guys.
Good night.
Bye.
So,
good night.
Appreciate your time. So we look forward to the Instagram here pretty soon.
Take care, Amanda. Thank you.
Have a good night.
CB, well done. What a fun show. Hell of a third set, buddy.
Boy, that was fun.
Well done.
Amanda's a great guest.
Yeah.
Like I said, future president of USPTA.
Right
there.
Mark it. Book it.
Book it down. I'd say within 10 years or less.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, James Scott Campbell.
Here we go.
With the outro.
Yep, here we go. Jimmy, come on. Let's see. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Season 1, Episode 130 of At the Net Podcast. Join us in 2 weeks. Actually, we're going to be off next week because my oldest daughter is getting married.
Congratulations.
Ashton Bell. So
young Ashton.
So we're off next week. But we'll be talking with local tennis pro, tennis icon, Timmy Dingles Bernard. So that'll be a lot of fun, just like we've had with Amanda. Timmy Dingles is he's a character.
That guy's hilarious.
Yeah. So also join us on Wednesday nights. We were talking about Instagram. We do a little thing called tennis shorts, right?
We get to find out what's in Craig Bell's tennis shorts.
Nothing. A big bag of nothing. Right
Actually,
there.
we're going to have a great guy. The OG. I know Amanda has kind of called us the Joe Rogan of tennis podcasts because we're not afraid to go long. This guy is amazing. 5-set formats. Craig Shapiro of the C-Shap Tennis Pod. Love that guy. That's Wednesday night.
Wednesday night?
Yeah.
What, this Wednesday night?
He's from New York. He'll be in San Diego, your old hometown. So about 6:05 Pacific, 8:05 our time. Join us on Instagram, Tennis Shorts.
Lastly, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and our other social media outlets. Plus, tell a friend or friends. We like your peeps. Hopefully, they'll like us and become netheads, right?
Right on.
Well, everybody, that's the tennis news as it seems to us. Good night, everybody, from Dallas, Texas. There we go. We beat Jimmy.
We did it. Amanda, well done, kid.
Thank you so much.
Fun.
Thank you again so much for having me. I so appreciate it. Very cool.
You're a blast.
Yeah,
Hit us with, of course, we'll share. And Craig is the genius of digital media. He will share 100 times or whatever.
I can share. I know how to share. He's a few
things.
He's a
sharer.
Sharing is caring.
Not the sheriff. What about the sheriff?
Sheriff.
I've been the sheriff on Wednesday nights.
The sheriff. So hit us with any feedback or any further questions, and we're always here to help, young lady.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Just absolute pleasure. So anytime. Happy to talk about anything. Anytime.
Really
So
good.
cool. We're gonna ask you back on a Wednesday night soon.
Yeah, we're going to do some conspiracy theories type.
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll go deep.
Not Bill
Yeah,
Patton.
Yeah, the General Patton. The general.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
I spent a
He's
whole
hilarious.
I went to when I was speaking in NorCal in May, I went and I
Yeah.
spent like a whole afternoon with him just because I'm fascinated by Bill Patton.
Yeah,
And
that guy's
he's
crazy.
just such a character. It's just that